never told you that I'm slightly broken, that I might lose focus when I am. I know you know that life gets colder, colder when you're frozen over like I am. Breaking up all this static running through my blood. Again, why do you waste your light on me? Out of luck, can I keep my head above this time? Again, feeling the ground collapse on me. You'll still have common days. Forget someone's name mid-conversation. Count your tips at the end of your shift. Buy something disappointing off the internet. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the divisional finals for D2 for Rainbow Six Siege. We have a fantastic best of 5 to end things here for the semester. It's St. Ambrose Esports versus Tech Sports Red, and it's here, my co-caster Llama. How you doing today?
Brother, better than ever. Wouldn't be any place other than here right now. Obviously, we get to crown a national champion, but Rainbow Six on a weekday, a best of 5, and a brand new map pool to spice things up. Why not? How about you? How you doing on this day?
I mean, I'm feeling great. I think a best of 5 is always the best scenario because not only do we get more siege, but it makes teams uncomfortable and makes them choose maps they otherwise wouldn't want to go to. Of starting off with Lair, Consulate, Border, Chalet, and Bank to end things off. A couple of freebies. Almost had Fortress there, but St. Ambrose not letting that one slip through.
Man, I was hoping we would get to see some Fortress because even though it's coming back into a map pool, I feel like a lot of teams are lost on it. So you can generate some really new and creative strategies, but to no avail, we don't get any Fortress today. I think interestingly enough, in a best of 5, the things that they took off the board first, obviously you get that Fortress kind of out of the mix, but the Labs, one of those more bulkier maps taken off the board. And it'd be interesting to see though, because in a best of 5 specifically, it's even more important to take your own map picks, and you've got to really work off momentum if you want to win the series here today.
Yeah, this is not the first time that these two teams have met. They actually met all the way over, and I believe it was the semifinal, somewhere around there. It was a 2-0 win for St. Ambrose. And speaking of win, those two maps came on both Chalet and Border, two maps that we see here today. But starting off on Lair, a map that we have not seen these two teams play against each other.
Yeah, this will be a fun one to kind of test out the waters and see where these two teams are sitting. I'll also be very interested to see, how this series goes overall, because As a general note, I think for St. Ambrose, they're already kind of playing with house money. You talk about a team that came into the playoffs, barely squeaking into the Divisional 2 playoffs, making it as the number 8 seed. They upset Robert Morris 2-1, Kansas State 2-0, and now the upset over Texas Tech Esports. They get to play them again after Texas Tech went down, beat Robert Morris in the lower bracket, and come back with a fury. So 2 teams on an absolute heater. It'll be fun to see how they're working. We got our first bands in.
Yeah, I mean, in this Texas Tech game, going into the St. Ambrose had not dropped a map. And, I mean, that's a very scary thing. And if you look at St. Ambrose, they almost did the thing, losing 1 map to Robert Morris University. So, again, this is 2 teams that you can already see in the all chat. It is very close-knitted beef. They've met each other once. Now, I will say with that 2-0, with St. Ambrose winning, the second map they did win 8-7. So still a very close fight there. And in all honesty, it could have gone to a 3rd map. So I don't want you guys to look at that and say that this is going to be a very one-sided affair, because there is potential for a lot to change here.
Yeah, it's exciting that they played close kind of every single time they've met. Obviously, interesting to go back to the regular season as well and their roads to get here, but I mean, this is it. No more second chances, no more lower bracket makeup. This is a win, secure a championship, or wind up second. So it'll be exciting. The Fighting Bees versus the Red Raiders. The Red Raiders will start on the attacking side, and the Bees will start on the defense.
Yeah, a little bit of a question mark for me is because this is St. Ambrose map pick that allows Texas Tech to pick into what side they want to play first, and they chose attack. Statistically, the least favored side on this map, 2-4 half rather for the attacking teams, is what you would really see. So again, it's a little bit of a ballsy move to go onto a side that isn't really favored on a very defender-sided map. But at the same time, they can face those issues very early on in the series.
And they're bringing a pretty aggressive composition. Obviously, you've got the Deimos, you've got the Grim, and you've also got the Sens. And usually when we see the Sens pick, it's more of you have a dedicated plan, you know exactly what you're going to hit. And for Texas Tech, you've got a lot of tools to kind of force players out of their position. And with already opening some of these outbound doors, they're going to use this blitz to get some forward pressure. But St. Ambrose is the first one to strike with a headshot on camo.
Yeah, I got that Deimos out very early on. No immediate trade coming from Texas Tech. And St. Ambrose, they're sitting really comfortably on this bomb site. You're going to have to use a spearhead, something to wedge your way in, especially since you're not going to be able to fully open this storage wall. Obviously, you look at Ghost on the blitz. He has that diffuser. He's obviously a shield, but there's a Denari line blocking his way on that doorway, and there is no real way to get it unless you throw utility on it, but it can immediately retread. So 1:30, half of the round gone. Buzz almost loses his life. Blah, blah, trying to get a second one, and they just hit the gear.
They're going to get the diffuser halfway here, but it's killed back from Craig. Double back up from Texas Tech to swing back in. It's a double from Buzz before the swing back comes through. Brapton and Blah Blah have to do a ton of work here, especially with Buzz surviving that outbound rotation. What a call to push it in. And Goes is going to put it one more time straight back in the face with the shield. It's a closer range SMG. They're going to try and close the angle. It's a triple kill from Buzz to start this one off. And with only 20 seconds left to go, the Azami's got a tall task in front of him. The shield will deny him, and Goes will find the headshot to clean things up in the first.
Yeah, fantastic start on this attack for Texas Tech. And again, give me the idea that they're coming in to the side with a plan. I talked about how they needed to use and rather find a spearhead, and they did exactly that with Ghost on the blitz. Rather than playing an uber aggressive position trying to get as many kills as possible, he just barged his way into the bomb site and got a plant down. You had somebody playing on the window over by bathroom, and then you had the additional player holding that doorway by storage. So a 2-man crossfire where no defenders were in a position to swing onto that blitz, getting the diffuser down. Sure, it was a very minimal take, but they got the exact amount of map space and control that they needed in order to get that plan down, and then hit St. Ambrose when they were expecting at the least a fantastic minimal take from Texas Tech.
And that's a really great start as well, because they're not going to change too much. They're going to go back with the Twitch. They're going to run this similar shield composition. And for St. Ambrose, they won't get another chance to ban away something until after that third round. So they're going to have to deal with this composition here for a few. And I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a heavily defensive composition. You've got those Cade Claws, you've got the Mira windows, but it just feels like Texas Tech's timing in that first round was impeccable. We'll see if obviously they could repeat that here in the upcoming rounds.
Yeah, it's the thing where we also saw St. Ambrose play really aggressive, but it all came off the back of plays from blah blah. There wasn't really anybody else trying to play in the face of Texas Tech. They're playing very passive, allowing for Texas to get as much map control when they wanted it, and that's what allowed for them to set up and then successfully take off that diffuser. So I think it's kind of a thing where St. Ambrose understands that they need to play in the face. They need to make sure they try and take control of the entire round. They don't let Texas set the pressure, set the momentum.
That's going to be important. Obviously, choosing this attacking side was very bold, as we've talked about a few times already. They're once again going to get a ton of space through this blitz, even though the pipe is going to go bursting. That'll delay him for just a moment and reveal some of the location on the staircase. For St. Ambrose, though, not biting, not giving up anything, and was going to start to activate those Twitch drones. 3 kills in that first round, and 3 very important kills, sandwiched between 2 other kills from their 2 other teammates that survived into that post-plant scenario. A very quick diffuser this round, not as such.
Camo playing that vertical. That nade is going to go off, so they're going to be able to get that armory wall open. You can see that blah blah, he's just waiting for the perfect time to go for this flank. But a matter of fact, that nade didn't go off eventually. Well, but the issue is there's only one staircase, and Texas is very well aware of exactly what blah blah is trying to do. So even if he does have the perfect amount of time, they're going to be prepared. They're going to be holding this flank.
70 seconds, nobody's dead. The Bees are going to try and assault this one, but they are going to lose one already. Cypher dropped down to the knees here and will be fully finished off by a headshot from Camo. Trying to retake some space. Gray's got to hit the reload before they salter back on through. It's going to be interesting, obviously, for the St. Ambrose team to delay for even more time and try and stop this engagement. But Texas Tech not to be stalled. Blah blah on this flanking side needs to go big, and there you go. There's the first, there's the shield, and that's a massive start. Thorn's going to be the target from Deimos, but little may it matter. The Bees have a ton of space here.
And on top of that, Deimos tracks the wrong person. He tracks Brapton and doesn't track blah blah, so he has no idea where this Solus is. But they know exactly where Camo is. Camo, aware that he's on his position, he gets that trade and gets the man advantage with it.
Senswall is down. Diffuser will go as well. C4 will go wide. It's going to be Rek, who's down a little bit low, and there's a nice shotgun takedown from the Warden. It makes it all even, Steven, 3-3, and that should just maybe deny the round with the shotgun. It's a double kill, a takedown of everything, and that's how you strike back and even the score.
Yeah, fantastic answer from the defense. And to be fair, Texas Tech doing nothing different. The exact same game plan. The only thing they changed was instead of forcing that blitz to get the plant down, they chose to do it with the Sens. The exact same Sens wall. They used their utility. They even opened the armory wall the exact same. And on top of that, they did it in a very slow pace. So that gave the defense plenty of time to not only read into it, but then react to it. It's about like a minute and 30, maybe even 2 minutes. St. Ambrose essentially knew the entire game plan, the entire win con for Texas Tech, and they could set up. You saw that they had that C4, even though that they missed it. You saw Debilicious was able to just run his way through that Sens wall. No one holding the cover on the planner. He's able to get that kill, and at 9 seconds left, you don't have anybody else on the bomb site. That's wraps.
The shotgun was beautiful as well. Had to clutch up on 2 really big kills there. And if you lose either one of those, all of a sudden it changes the score of that round. Instead, we knew it was going to be close, and we'll start off 1-1 here. Still 1 round away from those next set of bans coming through. And another round where St. Ambrose are going to go with pretty much a similar composition. This time they're going to swap out the Mira, go back to the Sazami, give themselves a little bit more overall changing of angles and space to force out Texas Tech. But it's going to be a similar but different composition as well from Texas Tech, as they're going to go with the Blackbeard Thermite combo with the Gridlock as well.
Yeah, they're doubling up with the Snake and the Deimos. They're trying to get as much information as possible, and you don't need information if you're just going to swing Camo. taking the head off of Blabla, making sure that he's not going to be a pest yet again. And it's a 5v4 just 30 seconds into the round. Nobody else even near ship. So they're going to pull back. They're going to play passive. They're going to let Texas Tech do their own thing. You have one player roaming, so it's a 3-man defense on the bomb site. And if Texas Tech can read into this, they have a very healthy man advantage.
I mean, you also talk about the information. These mid-round swings are going to be fun to watch with Buzz and Camo, who not only are two very good information gathering operators, but also the leader in kills, tied at 3 for both of them. They've had their moments. Thermite Charge going to go out here right next to the hatch to blow open some extra space. Wreck is going to go there as well. So hatch is gone, so is the floorboards beside it. And now a lot of verticality, added to this Texas Tech offensive side. I want to see what Buzz can do here, though, from this outside window.
Brap can do a lot of damage here. A couple of shots go off, so they're very well aware of his position. Looks like they're trying to get a plant down over by offices. You got Gray, who's going to drop down the hatch. The smoke isn't timed right, but they do have the cutoff inside a connector, a C4. Momkeen's able to take out Buzz. That's a 4v4. The drop down isn't successful. Camo to one of his own. It's a complete trade. Another swing. It's a 2v2, essentially. Dibalicious on the ground. He's going to confirm it. Rack with another one. It's Brap above. The player roaming in a 1v2. A Blackbeard still up. He's got a lot of time to work with, but Ghost is holding the drop in Texas Tech. They make it 2.
Had to go for it. Just had a ton of time and decide to send it. A little bit more chatter back and forth between these two teams as we get into our second round of bans. And you know, for Texas Tech to choose the offensive side, like you talked about, they need to have some really good plans. It's been a little bit messy at times on the entry timing, but their game plan has been solid and very similar to these 3 rounds. So one of the 2 shield to be taken off the board, and that Solus, which St. Ambrose has used basically every round.
Yeah, again, it's kind of a tricky play when you have a team that can play both the Blitz and the Blackbeard so well. Because at that point, I mean, it's just kind of picking, you know, the lesser of 2 evils. Each can do their own thing, and to be fair, Texas Tech has used both the Blitz and the Blackbeard to phenomenalous effect. But, I mean, I can't really go and say that Texas Tech, their entire attacking win con, their success has been off the back of those shields. St. Ambrose has been playing really passive, giving a lot of those individual gunfights that Texas Tech, almost every single gunfight they've taken in the first 3 rounds, they had at least 2 players doubled up. St. Ambrose is never going to find an isolated position. Even the 1 kill we saw in the second round, where the Solus was going for the flank, got the kill onto the not the Blackbeard, but the Blitz. He was surrounded by 2 players. He was just lucky that he had that timing correctly. No one was watching him. So again, that's an opportunity that you're not going to get a lot. So St. Ambrose, they have to change something up. Otherwise, Texas Tech, they're going to keep tallying up these rounds.
It's kind of interesting, right? You'd expect with this Thorn Azami K defensive composition that you would have more space, but Texas Tech's timing has been phenomenal. This time it is going to be the cap. It looks like Texas did get the drone out on it, so checking their doors before they enter them and making sure they don't give over anything for free. It's going to be a couple bit of early bullets. Dibalicious is going to lose that firefight down to about a 1/4 of their overall HP. Buzz will take some damage, but definitely not as bad with that impact. Will force them out even further. So, wanting to re-swing this and wanting to try and force them away with these first 45 seconds, but Buzz grabbing that information. Again, if you're on that similar floor, Solid Snake is going to get that ping.
Yeah, I mean, that's the dangerous thing of having a player like Buzz and Camo on these info-heavy ops is they don't need a drone in front of them. They can just use the info that these operators supplied them and play completely isolated and have such a huge effect because of that. And it's allowed Texas Tech, because of that, to have such a huge oversight. They're able to play this vertical. They're able to cover multiple different points around the map. But this round, rather, even though they have that opportunity, they're just going to try to go for a quick hit on the site.
I love the forward positioning, too. I mean, you get Ghost out there. You get Wreck on that backside to drop the tracks behind you, cut off the staircase. And now St. Ambrose kind of trapped in like sardines once more. Texas Tech ready to eat a couple of firefights. And Wreck will take a few bullets. Dibalicious on just the pixel angle, ready to go here, but needing some backup from the rest of the team. 2 players on the other side of this, an ill-advised swing if you go aggressive, but there is just way too many places to watch, and Texas Tech is going to start in closing soon.
Yeah, this is a solid crossfire that the defense has set up here, and it's something that Texas realizes, but Dibalicious just going for an ill-advised swing. Rex going to take advantage of that, and that's the man count with just 50 seconds left on the clock, and if you're Texas Tech, you got to hit that go button soon.
You can imagine with 45 seconds left, the angle has to be there. Low HP on the Thorn. The entry going to come in. A zombie barricade is going to give them just a little bit more positioning outside that kitchen side. Texas Tech still 5 players strong. The health bars aren't great, but they do eventually need to find that time and get the diffuser down. It's going to be Rek who finds yet another opportunity to get kills. It's a double as Camo will be traded away. Doesn't matter. Fun Monkey finds 2. Blah Blah finds the extra as well. And the diffuser plant is denied. We'll go back and forth and back to just a straight up 2v2. But Texas Tech is in a timing position. They need to get that case down. And with the entry from Brapton, it'll delay it for not long enough. We're in a post-plant timer, but Blah Blah finds the double, and Brapton cleans things up. The Bees will sting back, and we'll go back to tied up.
A perfect example. There's one word I have been using for this St. Ambrose team on the defense. It's passiveness. They've been too passive. And essentially, I mean, even in that round in the first half, you could even argue that they were being really passive, especially that Jaeger. He got lit up really early on and felt a lot of pressure from that Blackbeard and the Snake, so he had no choice but to go back. But when trying to get that plant down, the one thing that the attack didn't want the defense to do was play aggressive. And that's exactly what St. Ambrose did. They understood they couldn't just sit back, especially with the Blackbeard still on the board. They were able to get it to a 2v2, and once that Blackbeard was on the defuse, it was essentially a 1v2 because that Blackbeard had to get the plant down with only 9 seconds left. And if St. Ambrose can play like that throughout the entirety of the round, it's going to be a lot easier for them. But they just need to understand that. They need to just have that confidence behind them and not have any fear whatsoever.
10 seconds remaining.
That's the question, if they can keep that healthy change going to their side.
5 seconds
You
remaining.
stay all tied up after 4 rounds. Texas Tech choosing the attacking side here,
Attackers' objective is
wanting to
locate a
try and
bomb
find
defuse
their
it.
marker and revenge here in this series of the team that sent them down to the lower bracket before they had to fly their way back up. It won't be the Thorn this time, though, from St. Ambrose. They're going to try and play a little bit more sneaky with those Frost welcomes. They'll bring back out the Mira. So they've got a lot more rotatable positions here, and especially on a site defense like this. You can't obviously just sit there or let Texas Tech have some of the access to those lower floors.
Yeah, it looks like Texas Tech going to this top bomb site of R6 and Mask, finally changing up their game plan. A nice angle here from Brap, holding the vertical down below. Now, it does look like one of the Texas Tech players is around that vicinity. They also have this position over by Armory. Eventually, they're going to reinforce it. They also have a frost map below it. So this is a really good adaptation here from St. Ambrose. And so far, Texas Tech doesn't have an exact answer for it. They're trying to play a little bit of that vertical, but St. Ambrose, again, just playing aggressive, holding them off, not giving them any map control with ease.
I will say, this does become interesting, especially as
You have a
it's going to be a
nade.
fall down. Good push out. Texas Tech starts down a member. They had a lot of pressure with that frontline shield, and they still have a lot, but it's going to be Brapton who makes it a -2 scenario. They've got those claws as well to make sure nothing gets too exciting, and they can slow things down. They've already lost 2. They've already lost a portion of their breaching, so now it just really comes down to raw gunfights. And if you're taking raw gunfights in a 1v3, I don't think you're the ones that are favored.
C4 is going to miss with almost a minute on the clock. A 3v5. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to get that wall open. This is essentially the round over. They are going to be able to get one open. They actually get it both open, so that's actually really huge. If they're able to just get one kill, but I'm not sure if they're aware of Brap's position. You can play spoilers here. Got Camo going on backside, but Momo, he's ready for that. Rek trying to do another one, but Momo just finds him, blah, blah, with another. And St. Ambrose, not only with 2 in a row, but a flawless to tip it all off.
I mean, that was a phenomenal round, too. You talked about the adaptation of the frost mats, but, I mean, playing some of those uber aggressive positions, you get to take down the shield at the start of the round. And then Texas Tech are just kind of caught scrambling. So the first lead so far sits back in round number 1 from St. Ambrose. Texas Tech trying to string together this last round before we hit the swap. And it'll be interesting to see. Of course, it is a very long series, best of 5. You've got to win 3 of those maps. But for St. Ambrose, I love what they're doing in terms of the different rounds that they've won. From that first round win to the second round win, they have that aggressive nature. From the second to the third, they bring in some really good changed up strategies. And if this is how fast they're going to adapt over the course of the series, we might be in for a quick one.
Yeah, and again, I think going into this, we talked about how the shields have been fantastic for Texas Tech.
10 seconds.
But I mean, that round, it really didn't have an effect whatsoever. I'm not sure if Ghost was just lagging
5 seconds left.
or what happened. Maybe it was latency. It looked like something happened on his end. He even said that Ubisoft
Attackers
blessed
are heading out to the
St. Ambrose. But even around that, it was a very one-dimensional attack. They tried to have a little bit of pressure down below with the vertical, but again, with those vert holes, as soon as that player playing the vert just walked into the sight of the tuber out, it was all wraps for him. So then we come down to the thing where they don't have a snake, they don't have that Deimos, and they don't have anything else to really get information to have a good idea of what this defense setup looks like.
This time they're not really going to play with the information again. They're bringing back the sense. They're also bringing the knock to try and disguise some of the presence of where they're hitting from behind Ghost at this point. St. Ambrose, though, very comfortable. Brapton is pushed out by that impact and loses half of their health bar, but survives to tell the tale, and that's the most important thing. Brap has been pretty good so far, 3-2-1 over the course of just 5 rounds. And they've been working out the back of these mirror walls that continue to add more one-ways for them. Be able to survive that early minute is all that they needed to.
I mean, yeah, that's a really big steal there if you're Brap, and a really big miss for Texas Tech. That's a kill that you should have had. You had 2 players watching it. You had a nade on him to push him out, and you still just missed the mark. They're not even going to open Bunk's walls. I mean, very curious on exactly what the plan here is. 2 nades go out. Blah, blah is able to find the first one. He's able to find a second one. Blackbeard is getting too aggressive. Buzz is able to slow down the pace, though. Teammates trying their best to come and back them up.
That is just really tough. Godzilla stomping 2 out of the start of the round here, and St. Ambrose just has this high-low play. Fun Momo King has been diabolical over the course of these last few rounds. 6-3, 2.0 kill-death ratio. Here's a get-up from the shotgun as well. Nice takedown from Demolicious. Little body shot to add on some spice, too. And with 60 seconds left to go, the health bars are in the deep water, and it feels like Texas Tech is drowning.
Yeah, 50 seconds left, a 2v4. They don't have control of the vertical, a 2-man crossfire. St. Ambrose, all you have to do is just stay still, stay steady. Gray's able to get 1. He's not able to find the second. Momo shutting them down. Losing the very first round, but they still come off this first half with a 2-round lead. Again, what is expected from that defensive half.
3 rounds straight to top it off, and we'll get to see what the St. Ambrose attack looks like for the first time today. For Texas Tech, obviously they got the pick of where to go on this map after St. Ambrose selected it. They didn't get as many rounds I think they would have wanted on the attacking side. 2 is still okay, but they're going to have a really solid defensive side of their own right. It is going to be the Buck and the Mira, first 2 taken off the board.
Yeah, and I really love, especially in collegiate, teams just have completely different philosophies on how they want to play both sides of the table. Like, Deimos was never banned throughout the entirety of St. Ambrose on their defense. First chance they get, Texas Tech wants to take it out. They also banned the Buck, a phenomenal soft breach operator that's able to play around a lot of vertical that you can find on layer. And then for St. Ambrose, being taken off, wanting to make sure that they take off a lot of those long line site operators. The Mira that can just completely lock down a hallway. The Azami that can cut off those lines of sight for the attackers, create new ones for the defense. So again, it is really fascinating to me, just on essentially because we have so much utility, we have so many different operators that could do so many different things. There isn't really a right answer, and it just comes down to what team wants to prioritize. You know, do they want to take off those power operators? Do they just want to take away info? And again, I think Texas Tech and St. Ambrose doing a little bit of both, not really exactly leaning in one way or direction.
5 seconds.
I'm very interested to see how this composition works out for Texas Tech, because you've got a lot of delay tools to make sure that St. Ambrose just can't rush you as quick as possible. You talk about that Denari line, that Tachanka to not only aid in pre but also post-plant scenarios, but there's also a lot of information, but a very heavy-hitting composition from St. Ambrose that you have the slowdown from Texas Tech, but if you don't slow them down enough, this composition could just run over you, place the tracks behind them, and go as quick as they want. We'll see if they can find that speed, though, because the Bees we talk about cannot be passive here on this attacking side. Either way, let's see what happens on this left-sided look. 5v5 here. Destroy some of that barbed wire. Texas Tech burning a minute. Fun Monkey's going to find the first blood of the round and move up to 8 kills so far in just 6. Gray off the early damage, just doesn't find it. Brapton having the time of their lifetime. That's a bad catch, though. Fun Momo King caught with utility in hand and puts the pressure on. Just 90 seconds left to go here, and Texas Tech down 2 players, but Rec is going to make sure they even that up.
Yeah, they're going to even it out to a 3v3. Half of the round gone. You're able to get a lot of map control. So you have plenty of time to now just kind of sit, reset your defense, get additional info with these drones. 2 gas babes in the pocket of Rec. You also have a C4 and I think a couple more Denaris in the pocket of Go. So there's still a lot of utility that this defense can use to just hold off St. Ambrose. And that's essentially what you need to do as a defense. Just try to hold off this attack for as long as possible to try and deny that plant from going down. They also don't have that wall open. They have one more inside of Therm on Cypher, but it's going to be really difficult to get that wall open, especially with somebody still having a C4 in their pocket. Buzz looking to do damage.
Oh. Blabla's going to find the first bit of damage and take the head off there of Buzz. It is 9 kills already for Blabla. It is Brapton who finds the double, and it is going to be Rec who is left all on their lonesome. Do they have a clutch in him? Right side look, the answer is no. Blabla finds yet another headshot, and it's going to be another St. Ambrose round win.
I mean, St. Ambrose has just completely taken control of this map. 3 rounds in a row completely unanswered, and they start their attacking half off with a woozy. I mean, throughout the entirety of that round, even when they got it down to a 3v3, they were always in control. They were always in the driver's seat. They knew exactly where that 2-brow was, prone behind that couch, just waiting for him to stand up. They knew that he could only do 2 things in that position. One, throw a C4 to try and get a kill and deny that thermite, or use one of his charges to try and slow down and pause that thermite for about 15 seconds. Either way, he had to stand up, and they had line of sight on him. And Texas Tech, they had no idea. And as soon as they got that kill, the entire defense was pushed all the way over on to R6 room over by B-bomb, and they had no way with the crossfire set up by St. Ambrose to retake that bomb site.
Now the question is, I mean, Texas Tech isn't going to change really anything here in this defensive side. Maybe they just chalk it up to, okay, they took some bad team fights, blah, blah, had a really good round. Maybe you just shut that down. But at this point, St. Ambrose are 1 round away from being 1 round away. 2 more round wins, and they've already won this map. And a 7-2 is not exactly how the Red Raiders would have envisioned this one starting out. So moving back to their power picks, and especially I think Camo needing to survive for longer than just those initial engages, so they can use that utility later on in the round is going to be more important in this one, but they're already thermiting in.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell. Just look at how much utility here is being brought. That Thatcher's going to do absolute damage. The Tubarão and the Bandit trying to buy as much time as possible. It's just kind of about a timing thing. Even if they are able to get this wall open, you've wasted about a minute. Ideally, you want to waste a little bit more, but with still one more charge in the pocket of Buzz. Still have plenty of time to waste this utility, but it just comes down to whether or not Camo can trick this wall. And it honestly looks like that St. Ambrose, they're just going to go for broke. They're going to completely give up trying to get this wall open.
They wasted a lot of time to try and do it. And Camo was on their P's and Q's, ready to, like you said, trick it up, make sure there was no entry. Still a 5v5. Texas Tech this time, no aggro looks. But it's going to be Momo King once again on the search. Ghost not trying to be caught on those cameras as the entry comes through. Tracks once again laid behind them on the staircase side with some barbed wire to cut them off. It's a drone to grab some information, and Rek, who has the deadly shotgun, especially in the close range spot that they are. A lot of time off the board for St. Ambrose. They've yet to kill anybody, but I have a sneaking suspicion with this crossfire they set up that they're about to get some kills.
Nade goes out and he immediately swings into it. A perfect play of utility. Momo finds another one. He's going to clear H hallway. And that's exactly what you need. Still 50 seconds, so still plenty of time for Texas to find something. But Dibblicious with another one. Buzz missing the shots that he so needed. Ghost also misses his. It's just a 1v4, 30 seconds. Blah Blah says no more. Texas going back to this bomb site, trying to fix their mistakes, but St. Ambrose, they gives them a whole set of new ones.
And I mean, let's be honest, the definition of insanity, trying the same thing over and over and hoping for a different result there from Texas Tech. They try and bring the exact same composition, and it really just does not find the stall that they wanted to. Sure, they trick out the wall, but St. Ambrose with their aggressive speed just absolutely blazing. They're going to switch things up. They're going to put Blah Blah, who is already on double-digit kills, on the glass here for this one. They've also brought the Ram, so they can go top down, and Texas Tech has got to be really careful because St. Ambrose is on that point.
The one thing that I've noticed about Glaz, and switching to Nomad's even going to make the point even better, is if you go back a couple of years ago, let's say like 4 to 5 years when Glaz was still being played versus now, you'd have more supportive players playing that said Glaz. They wouldn't be playing aggressive with it. They'd be
10 seconds left.
throwing out the smoke, going for the cover fire into the planter, but rather now you have more flexible,
5 seconds
aggressive
to go.
players. Like you can play the Nomad, which is also a huge flex operator right
Attackers
next to
are
the
moving
Glaz.
out
You
to
don't
locate
need
a
to have
bomb
it
and
on a
defuse it.
defined supportive player, and I just really love on how St. Ambrose is able to play not only into the meta, but use these operators in multiple different ways. They don't have one player only playing hard breach. They can rotate it around. They can rotate Blah Blah. They just giving themselves a lot of different avenues and opportunities.
Now they've got the opportunity to close it out in just 9 rounds. It'll be interesting to see what Texas Tech can do to shut it down. They've also got a change of a composition on their side. Most notably, I think the Goyo, to try and help stop them get into some of those bigger locations. I mean, that being said, already one of the big doors opened up down bottom. Rek is going to find a first blood, though, on Dibblicious. So, for the first time, it feels like in a few rounds, Texas Tech has got a man advantage early. So we'll now have to see how they navigate it.
Activating override.
Yeah, Blah Blah and Ghost just kind of in a stalemate here. But Blah Blah misses the shots, misses the opportunity. He waited essentially an entire minute to get that kill. He is going to be able to shoot off one of those Nomad jabs. So just for now, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but they still have to clear out Rek. The flash is going to be successful. They clear that player out. They're able to set up this vertical. They still got to worry about Buzz, but he's just going to fall back down. Camo trying to open up a little bit of vertical to put some pressure onto them, but it's just not going to work.
Lucky trade there for both sides. Nobody falling. But that Ram is starting to get its fill, eating away all of the floorboards here. And the above room for Momo King is so much pressure that it can put on, especially if you can get some of your players down the staircase. That's exactly what Brapton is going to do. A little bit spread out here from the Texas Tech defensive side, and Buzz is going to be under pressure at this deployable shield. Early nade out, and Blah Blah's going to sit low and die to the shotgun. Buzz takes one. We'll see if they can find another. Already a ton of value from this position. And Momo King stalwarted here from just a single shield, a single man, and the flash is not enough.
Ghost on the flank. He's going to find one while Momo was in a gunfight with that Warden. 45 seconds left. It's all but wraps. They know where this player is eventually, but it doesn't matter how many flashbangs you throw. I mean, it's a Vigil. Or not a Vigil, but a Warden. It doesn't work. A 1v4, almost no time to work with. Brap essentially now in a two-man crossfire. Another flash. Again, he's still Warden. Not going to work. Buzz going to lock it down on Kino Stairs. Fine, Texas Tech. Just one more round. A little bit of hope, a little bit of life still in this team.
And I think critically, you get yourself to this point where you get another ban, you get a chance to take something off the table, and I mean, Buzz, if it wasn't for them in that round, those 2 kills, if that staircase breaks open, it is a much different round, even with only 2 players left alive. But we'll get into this next round of bans here for St. Ambrose. They will stay on map point. They've guaranteed themselves overtime at the very least. They've got 3 rounds to try and shut it down. It's going to be the Warden and the Tokiebi as the next shutdown. I like the Warden just because of how good it was on Buzz, and again, how much just general utility the St. Ambrose composition was bringing.
Oh, I saw them tease that blitz there for a little bit. But yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of a thing where you're up 6-3. Texas Tech isn't really doing anything too special around the map. So instead, they're just going to be, kind of leaning on these power operators like a Warden. In St. Ambrose, they don't want to bring anybody like a Flores or a Capitao, still just trying their best to kind of lean and rely on these flashbangs. So just, getting rid of an operator that completely removes that is fine. But one thing that I'm a little bit worried about is Texas Tech. This is their 3rd opportunity, their 3rd time trying this upstairs R6 and mask room. They played basement once, not trying that middle floor bunks bedroom, and it kind of gives me an idea that they're not confident on it. And that's exactly what you don't want, because you can't only play 2 maps, or not 2 maps, but 2 bomb sites, especially when you're down 3 rounds. You're going to have to eventually win that 3rd tertiary bomb site.
Got to find a way to win it, and you've got to find a way to win 3 in a row here for the Red Raiders, who will go back to this Tachanka composition. C4 goes out. Demolition doesn't get the kill. It will be interesting from Ghost. They are bringing the Clash, so that's the one big change. They've got this shield. They've got a lot of mobility that they can use to swing around this map. But you've got to find a way to shut down Momo King and Blah Blah, who combined over the course of just 9 rounds have found 22 kills between the 2 of them.
Yeah, this explosive utility not working whatsoever. C4, no avail. The nade to follow up, nothing there either. Not necessarily something big, but again, it just really goes to show that both of these teams, they're very aware of their positions. In St. Ambrose, sure, you're up 6-3, but you don't want to let it falter. You don't want to start to let it slip through your hands, and I'm a little bit worried about this Clash. I think this is a really good answer to this aggressive attack that St. Ambrose has been bringing so far. And if we look at the operator lineup, I mean, you've got about 6 nades, but you can move around that pretty good. There's no Capitao. There isn't really any good direct counter to the shield operator.
The real counter is just going to have to be really good team play at this point. Obviously, you've got a lot of destructibility with that sledge to take care of some of this soft breaching throughout the entirety of this map. I reckon the rest of the crew has a lot of defensive utility still left, and another thermite charge is going to go out. Correct, you're kind of the cornerstone of this defense. If you can get 1 or even 2 kills, you've won your job. But I think for Momo King and the rest of the crew, they know. Somebody's here. Here goes the impact. Sends it out. Dibblicious will find Wreck, and that'll start the snowball. Ghost is the next one to try and stop them. But that shield will only linger for so long. And of course, if they drone it out, they know they can send multiple members to try and run it over. Blah Blah swings in on this crossfire, gets the damage, but doesn't quite get the kill. Camo lives to tell the tale at about half HP, and it's going to be a takedown of Camo. So all of a sudden, Dibblicious is on a double. Blubba finds their extra. St. Ambrose running over this side. And the impact, even though it doesn't find the kill, it is down to Just Ghost, who even though finds the double kill, is flashed down, is stunned away, and that should be the map. St. Ambrose clutches up for themselves, and their quick run over will deliver their first map selection to their favor.
St. Ambrose starting out hot in this best of 5, taking their opponent's map pick, and then moving on to their own. Again, a decent start there on Lair for Texas Tech. They got a solid 2 rounds in the first 3, but then after that, it was nonstop steamroll, constantly in that driver's seat. But we've got a little bit of a break before we go to our second map. Don't go anywhere far. We'll be back shortly.
You'll still have common days. Get caught in traffic during your commute. Overthink a text message. Get a song stuck in your head. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Division 2 Nationals. We've got our second map of Consulate loading up. It was a very one-sided affair on Lair, a 7-2 win. But now we get to go on a Consulate and change things up. I'm quite excited. I hope that we can maybe see a little bit of a closer affair, but both teams definitely still staying heated.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. You go back to that map number 1 for Texas Tech. They obviously chose to start on that attacking side, and they were only able to pick up those 2 rounds. They had a game plan, I will say, that they all followed together, but it just sort of fell apart towards the end as St. Ambrose was able to adapt. And again, we're talking about a number 8 seeded St. Ambrose that has really wreaked havoc on this Division 2 bracket, even sending this Texas Tech team down to the lower bracket before they bounced back up after the win over Robert Morris. So no more second chances at this point, but Goose, I'm very scared for Texas Tech. Obviously, we go to their map pick, but if they lose this one, they'll have to pull off the reverse sweep 3 games in a row.
Yeah, it is looking a little bit dire, but, let's not get all down in the dumps. There's still a lot to do. We still got Consulate ahead of us, and I believe it is probably going to be Texas Tech starting on the attack, which, again, just like Lair, attack is Consulate is a very defender-sided map. A 4-2 half is usually what you'd expect for the defense, so already going into a little bit of a side where they're going to struggle. They're going to have to really pull their pants up, dig through, and find these really important gunfights.
And I think that was just it. I mean, if you look at the basic strategies, I think were good from Texas Tech of what they were able to bring to each different composition. It was just losing some of those early battles, not being able to delay enough. And then on the other side for St. Ambrose, players like Blabla were having themselves a heck of a map number 1 to start. And those are players you just don't want to give them the confidence because they will snowball away with it. We'll see what Texas Tech chooses to ban away and what their changes are as we head into map number 2.
It's actually St. Ambrose. I have a little worried here because this is St. Ambrose map pick. Texas Tech, they get to pick into the defense. So I'm kind of I don't want to say that their layer attack was horrible, but Consulate is a completely different map. They're going to have to really change up their play styles. I also wonder if the bans are going to be the exact same. That'd be a little funny because, I mean, Layer is very different from Consulate while it is similar in many ways. You can't just go for those direct attacks on a lot of these bomb sites, especially if Texas Tech is going to be trying to pick up that momentum, try to roam around and play a little bit more aggressive, which I hope they do. They did that phenomenally on their attack. So I think going into this first half, it's just St. Ambrose. They need to get a read really quickly and just kind of, get a feel for exactly what Texas Tech is doing because we saw over on their defense last time, they didn't really change up a lot.
Attackers need to locate
And they kind of went with the same thing over and over and just decided that was going to be their game plan. It didn't work out a few rounds in a row, so we'll have to see where it goes from here. This time around for the Texas Tech crew, I like the bring of the Wamai. It gives you, of course, a little bit more roaming potential. You bring the Tachanka not only for that late round potential on the delay with the fireballs, but you also have that deployable shield. So we'll have to see what Rec can play off of. Was one of the superstars in terms of the kill-death ratio going back at that map number 1. But for St. Ambrose, they're going with a pretty heavy in-your-face composition with right now a double shield.
5 seconds.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of a thing where St. Ambrose, they got that double shield. They got the Dokkaebi on top of a Ying. They are a team that will not only lean into those aggressive operators that are really favored in this meta, but they'll use it really good. They don't just spam them because they're a really bad attacking team and they need that util meta. They're just really good at it. They know how to use it, and it's a timing thing. They know when to time it correctly to get as much map control, to take Texas Tech off guard, and that's what I love about it.
Devilicious is going to use both of their impacts here very early on through the skylight. One to take care of the Denari wire, and the second to take care of the wall that lies behind it. So Texas Tech wants to recoil a little bit from losing that position, but Devilicious wants to go straight on in. Will force a few bullets coming out on the other side, but now that recognition comes through from Texas Tech as they're giving up a lot of space all around towards the outskirts, and here comes the call from Blah Blah.
Really aggressive start. Cypher finds one, goes with an answer back. Dibblicious, he's going to pick it up, but it's just a constant trade. Cypher, he's able to find another one. Ghost, he can go huge here if he times it right. Nice little shot of triple for him. He needs to go huge here. Out of nowhere. A very quick start, but a very quick stunt from Texas Tech. A 1v2 now. Still a minute and 30. Plenty of time to play with. You still have a call in the pocket. Flashbang also to use, so there's a lot that Blabla has to use and work with.
I mean, the other thing, too, is you talk about the health bar. Ghost had to spend a lot there to get it, but Flash is not going to go for that one, so we'll have to see what Camo can do in this rotation as well. Blah Blah ideally would like to isolate them, and Texas Tech doesn't have the biggest chance to just play together, but you also just need the one kill to close things out, start things the reverse of what you did back in that previous map, and get this first round of the board. The other problem for Blah Blah obviously doesn't have that diffuser, so on the road to pick that up is checking every single angle here. The overhang first, then up the stairway side. Gonna be Camo on the lurk with Ghost. The only two left alive here from the Red Raiders, but Blah Blah will have to face this one away, just looking, waiting for the time, hoping that they swing him. They've got two here. Here comes the first look, and it's an isolation. No way! Blah Blah deserves a spot on Mount Everest for that.
In my head, I was preparing to say this is an unlosable position for Texas Tech. All they have to do is just sit and wait for St. Ambrose to swing, but somehow, some way, Blah Blah is able to create a miracle. Find two 1v1s when they're doubled up on top of each other. I mean, that is a mood killer. That is a momentum stopper for Texas Tech. I mean, St. Ambrose, to be fair, they were completely silenced in that first half, put in that 1v2 position when, in all honesty, I don't think they should have. I think they just played that really aggressive first a minute, 30 seconds poorly. That was completely in their hands, but somehow they're able to just salvage it from beneath the dirt. And Texas Tech, they're going to be heading back into this round just scratching their heads on what the hell just happened.
Also, what you're saying, Goose, is your caster powers are so strong that you can caster curse a team just by thinking about that.
That is power that I don't think I want.
Yeah, stop thinking, stop thinking. No teams, keep them all out of your head. But, you know, for St. Ambrose, that's an incredible collection for Blah Blah, who's been having an incredible game so far. It's going to be a takedown of that outer window, and for Blah Blah, just hoping somebody peeks them here in the aggro look. For Texas Tech, once again realizing that this map is shrinking very quickly around them. They've got the resources to try and shut it down here in this round, but it's St. Ambrose for this first time bringing the Flores to try and clear out some of those easy positions, and Cypher's going to find it first blood on Ghost.
Yeah, that's that Denari off the board. Question marks back in chat. No immediate trade either, and that's been a big problem for Texas Tech, is their inability to get these trades from losing these first picks. And then on top of that, again, you know, a whole different problem of just losing those first entry engagements. But the inability for Texas Tech to really come back from it until Buzz finds one. A really great find. That's that snake off of the board. A lot of info removed. And a really good answer there. A minute off the board, 2 players off. Not a whole lot of map control. Gain from St. Ambrose. You can see that Camo is playing a very aggressive position, kind of wedged in between offices. And he's able to just swipe away. He's able to get away.
He'll survive to tell the tale, but Camo will not as they run back into Momo King's spray. For St. Ambrose now up a player. Yeah, again, for both teams, losing both of those first members from Ghost and Debilicious. Not their greatest operators to lose, but here comes those Flores drones to do some extra damage, destroy some of the barricades that are alive down the map, and Buzz saw one, gets the double kill off the headshot. Momo King no longer allowed to play in this round, and we're set into a 3v3 with 60 seconds to go.
Yeah, a little bit of a difficult situation here. Again, it's another position where if Texas Tech just sit back, play passive, they can wait the time, but Blah Blah is not going to allow that to happen. He's going to find yet another Rex, forced to play aggressive over by this meeting position. With 40 seconds left, St. Ambrose in a really comfy position.
Oh, Rec needs to get that kill and will find it. Still an awkward one as the swings are going to come through. The takedown in the health bar. But Blah Blah lives to tell the tale, and we know how good they've been. This time, not so much. It's a double kill from Rec in the middle of the round. And it'll leave the bees to eat away from everything else. Takedown good. Gray dead. And it should be back into a 1v1. Cypher earns themselves the double kill. Trying to avoid isolating anything. Rec looking for the triple. Same on the other side. Diffuser gonna be baited out. Rec has got to go now. Halfway in the timer left to go. And it may just not get down. This is just a round setup win. Texas Tech plays the timing good enough. And the patience pays dividends.
Again, even with all of the success that St. Ambrose has found themselves, they still struggle. They get map control and they just kind of turn their brains off, and that allows for Texas Tech to retake this position. I mean, for example, you just had Nomad over by top spiral stairs play completely aggro. They had control of Soda Hallway. They just were not playing Soda, and they allowed for that Tachanka to regain the position, not only find one kill, but then allow his teammate to find another in a 3v2 with complete control of the back half. And it's kind of a thing where, sure, it's the second round, you now go into the third, but you're in a different bomb site. While that, mid-round to late-round aggression from the defense still can be applied to any site of the bomb site, you don't have the same bomb site to go off of. So this is a problem that St. Ambrose, whether they want it or not, they're going to continue to struggle with this, and they need to find an answer relatively quickly if they want to get at least 2 to 3 more
10
rounds.
seconds to go.
And at the same time, just a single 1v1 win could have changed that one for the better for them. And could have put them up 2-0, but that's not the story that will be told right now. For Texas Tech, trying to even out not only this map individually, but the map count in total. As St. Ambrose was able to close out that map one 3-7 in their favor. And this time around, it's a nice composition from St. Ambrose. It's not a lot of intel. You have the Doke AB, but you also have a lot of destruction through that buck, through that thermite, and you have the gridlock to cut off your backside. But I say that, but Dibalicious is the first to die. Camo finds a first blood.
Yeah, Camo's going to find that opening pick. That's that gridlock, that flank potential, that flank denial, rather, off of the board. And a really good effort here from Texas Tech to kind of reserve themselves, not give St. Ambrose an opportunity to get that refrag. And that's it. I mean, you're going to run away with that kill for completely free. Play very passive. You still have a couple of players on this second floor, including Ghost. So still a lot of potential to not only waste time, but with how this defense, with how this roam is set up, they're here to get killed. They're not here just to waste time to go back. You can see that Ghost all the way on the top floor, hiding his position with that Vigil scanner. He wants to be here until he finds a kill. He wants to wreak havoc. He's rather Camo, the C4 below. That's going to be the one doing that.
I mean, you talk about the 2 targets that have been taken off the board as well. You lose the gridlock, you lose the buck. It is a catastrophic scenario right now for the Fighting Bees, who will need to really fight back in this round, as it is still Ghost who holds this long angle, takes down Cypher with a single bullet, and has got one left in the tank in case they need it. Blah Blah dies to Buzz, and almost on the ropes of the flawless round. Brapton will try and change that, yet to get a kill so far here on map number 2, and knows their position is basically closed in on, and the shots will confirm it. Texas Tech from up above on the spirals will, Ghost wants it, really wants this final fight, but again, knows they don't have to play aggressive, knows they'll probably walk into them, and Brapton will lose basically all of their HP, and Ghost should have this cleanup on the flawless Texas Tech, just closing in now, as one more kill left to go.
I mean, you got 5 bars of health. Brap's going to be able to maybe get an exit kill, but that's about it. I really love how you can see just 4 players on the bomb site standing completely still, holding crossfires. They are not going to give this Dokkaebi any opportunity whatsoever. And I love that. A lot of teams, when they're down like this, when they get an opportunity like a 5v1, they'll just be seething at the mouth, clawing for that kill. But Texas Tech sitting back, hiding away, allowing for St. Ambrose to just dig their grave even deeper. But again, it's defense. This is what we expect. But that round right there, that is just St. Ambrose not having any idea on these roaming positions, and Texas Tech reaping the rewards because of it.
And again, it didn't help that obviously Dibalicious went down first there to give them even less potential to break in through and gather some face-to-face intel. That being said, this time they're going to go a lot of intel with that solid snake on those similar horizontal levels, but I'm also intrigued to see Brapton on this Monty. You've got a lot of upfront potential. You bring the Finca, you bring the Ace over on Cypher, who, by the way, is right now leading St. Ambrose in kills. This is a good composition, especially with the Dokiebi and the Valk
Bomb
band away.
located by attackers.
Yeah, and if you look at Texas Tech, they have a lot of ability to play spoiler. You have that Pulse that can play down below. You also have the Solus, but more importantly, you have 4 impact grenades and 2 C4s. So not only are you able to play this vertical, you can play that plant denial from above, but they could completely
5 seconds left.
give up sight and not only have the info, but the explosive utility, the vertical, to just completely deny St. Ambrose from getting that plant down. So it is almost necessary that not only do they get this top vertical control completely cleared out and get that in their favor, but they also have to, on top of that, worry about the Pulse and the Solus. It is just going to be a really difficult round that's going to require complex solutions.
One of the solutions, I think, for St. Ambrose has just been over the course of the day today is just win early firefights. Just take bodies. And that's something that they can pride themselves on back in map number 1. Good look there from Ghost, but doesn't actually find the kill. Hiding just under that overhang. Save him. A foot shot will go through. Buzz will lose a little bit of HP, but survives enough to tell the tale once more, and that's pretty huge. We talk about Buzz on this Warden has been so strong to delay so much of that utility. Those flashbangs, the opportunity to just put on the goggles and delay the attack from coming through any further. St. Ambrose spending a lot of time to gather where these outbound positions are coming from, but they need to assault here soon.
Nice C4 on the Cypher. That's your ace off the board. Nice little angle being held here, but Gray's going to be able to get out of dodge. And again, it is so hard here. You have 4 players on this top floor. You need somebody on St. Ambrose to just play aggressive, have that confidence to swing in and try to find a kill. But, I mean, Buzz and Camo playing doubled up with this nice crossfire here. Just really good positioning from the defense.
Can you take down Buzz? Can you find more angles here with only 70 seconds left to go? I mean, don't get me wrong, the health bars aren't phenomenal. Gray at half, Buzz at maybe 3/4, but it's going to be the setup here off that impact. Blah Blah, who's been such a big part of landing those shots and spearheading the offense, will try and start things off. Rek still has a C4 in the back pocket, and with so many nades left available here, it's a takedown from Dibblicious. They make up for the last round. They take down Gray. They start things off with a bang. You need this next one, though, and Blah Blah will find it. 2 straight kills here for the Bees, but Camo's going to fight back with a headshot. It is Blah Blah down to their knees as Rex slices them down on the finish. It's the full takedown now for Brapton and Dibblicious. They've got to do it all themselves. Low HP bars on the other side. But the other problem is they need to get access to this site. And it feels like Texas Tech has already denied them of that chance, denied them of any chance to look for this diffuser. And it just feels like the crossfires are going to be good enough. The shots to the wall will take down Ghost. They just need to survive. It's a double kill from Camo to finish it off. Dibblicious!
What?
No way!
What are you?
How does this guy keep getting away with highway murder?
That is probably one of the best rounds of Rainbow Six Siege I have seen. Not only do you have a 2-man clear on top floor, and then you have 2 players from St. Ambrose hit the site, you'd probably guess, yeah, the 2 guys with defuse are probably on the bomb site. No, it's the guys trying to clear the top floor. So not only do you have a complete disconnect there, but in a 1v3, after having an entire round of playing together, spread out crossfires, they're like, let's play the one position where we can lose. Tripled up on a shield. 1 nade, an LMG, that's all it takes. And wow, what a slip through for Texas Tech, but St. Ambrose taking advantage of that opportunity.
10 seconds left.
I mean, they're already playing with house money for St. Ambrose, right? You've already got the 2 rounds you want, and off of really the fashion that Texas Tech didn't want to give him off
Attackers
at.
are moving to
And
defuse a bomb.
now you've got to really revert course, not really changing up anything again. So I think although Texas Tech's plan has been very good with their operators that they've selected, St. Ambrose, I think, is starting to learn what they want to do every single time because they're not changing too much. They're playing off these Denari lines. They're playing slow with the rotate off camo. And if they can take those two things out of the equation, it might just start to tilt more their way.
Divalicious, very close to being a first pick yet again. He hasn't had a bad game so far, but he has been in a lot of difficult gunfights, and he's been able to, make his way over to a nice 4-3 stat line, so he hasn't been struggling too much. He is going to be able to hide away, miss that opportunity of an easy pick. Buzz and Camo also taking a lot of health, but these Flores drones getting a lot of use, the utility, getting a lot of this utility, defensive utility, especially over by reception, just off the board early on. Is that going to get both the shield? Okay, it doesn't get both the shield, but Gray, he's going to be able to get Dibalicious finally getting rid of that snake. And Ghost, he's going to find another one. He's going to find two. Are you kidding me? Buzz with another one. It's not even halfway through the round, and Braff's just all alone on Repel.
I mean, the health bars are a little bit low on the other side, but Ghost, how about a step-up performance from them? 8 kills. Only 5 rounds in here, leading the team and leading the lobby. It is a diffuser that is pretty much in no man's land at this point. You have to put your body online to go get it. It has 70 seconds to go. Buzz is going to watch this walkout just in case. Brafton, what is a lonely Monty to do? I guess rotate in the other way with the pistol, and yeah, the drone gets some information, but they're going to hunt him down. Brafton finds the headshot. If this is the start of a turnaround round, off of that, okay, Buzz will find the headshot. It won't be pistol kill Avalanche, and it will be Texas Tech avenging their brothers and finding a 4-up round to really swing things back.
I really appreciate how Texas Tech, even when they're down, they're able to still talk that trash. They're still able to have their chest out in that all chat. If you're St. Ambrose right now, I mean, you got 2 rounds. Even if you lose this next one, it's really not the end of the world. I mean, that's the bare minimum that you expect out of attacking teams on Consulate. But knowing St. Ambrose, I think they want more. And, I mean, there's been, I think, almost 2 to 3 rounds where they just get completely shut out. Put in these 1v5 situations, even a 1v3 situation. And I can't even entirely say they're not winnable. I mean, that round itself, if he got 1 more kill as a Monty, in a lot of worlds, in a lot of rounds, he probably could have won that. But again, I think at St. Ambrose, they just gotta kind of slow their cool a little bit. They're giving up too many opportunities in these opening picks because either one, they're playing too isolated, or they're not having enough information, and that's something that Texas Tech is playing into, especially with operators like that Vigil.
The other thing I think to think about too for St. Ambrose is you talk about not being really worried, and you look at the map selection for all 5 over the course of today. Even if they lose this map, they go to Border next, and Chalet is number 4. Those are the 2 maps, by the way, that they beat Texas Tech on back in that, whatever you want to call it, winner's bracket final before the grand final. So they feel like they've got a lot of confidence, and especially if they win this 6th round, they're going to be in a really, really good spot. They will bring the flaming crossbow from Momo King this time, and already push Camo even further into the site.
Yeah, getting that wall open very early on, that's going to be a lot of time well spent. You're going to avoid a lot of time wasting there. You're going to be able to rotate around. Ghost could get a pretty good opportunity. He just plays it correctly. Cypher, he's going to be the player in the line of sight of this Vigil. And then he just impacts and walks away. All right. I mean, you didn't lose your life. You're going to be meeting the Monty face to face. So they know you're here. They have to address you now. And you can just kind of waste time. You don't even really need to play that aggressive here.
There's still a lot of time left to waste as there's 2 minutes left on the clock. Dibalicious trying to, once again, send out some of those tracks, and I guess nobody checked in for Camo, who just walks out for absolutely free, gets the kill on Blah Blah, and walks off into the night with the criminal tag on their back. 90 seconds still left to go here, but Texas Tech, that is another good takedown. And with no blah blah here in this round, they're going to have to work off of Brapton and what they can get on the space from this Monty.
Yeah, they're moving really slowly. This could be a really difficult situation here to work around. And they still have that Monty to try to clear the way to get this map controlled. But again, I mean, it's just going to be really difficult to move around this really deep crossfire over by Stack.
2 players here to try and shut down that shield. Ghost, who is already up to 8 kills, as we talked about. Very good spot. And look at this. You talk about the damage onto Cypher. Down to very, very minimal to work off of. Dibblicious. Do you check your corners? The question is no. Camo just slings around for free, finds the double. That has been the priority. 2 very easy kills from Camo throughout this round so far. And the slow walk is going to fall to Momo King, who needs to walk as this Dosito unit. But realistically, there is just 20 seconds left to go. So much left to clear here. And Momo King's going to try and play the reversal. They've got 2 players on the dual stack. Long fire is good. Momo King finds the first half a headshot. Is it just enough? The answer's going to be no. Momo King on a double. There's not enough time. And Ghost will solidify 9 off of a Texas Tech 4-2 half.
Texas getting the 4 rounds that they needed. St. Ambrose, they're going to come out of that with just 2. But again, you know, you're not going to really go into the second half scratching your head or with your heads held down low, because I mean, you get to go on the defense. You get to go on a very strong defender-sided map. And St. Ambrose, from what we already saw in map 1, very great on that defense. Just waiting for the bans now again. Texas Tech, every opportunity they get to talk in that chat, they're going to take it. Smoke and a Monty ban. The very first time we've actually seen Smoke banned out, but I really do like that. That's something that St. Ambrose has loved to do. Not specifically the Smoke, but just waste the time with that utility in the Goyo to double up and a double shield ban there from St. Ambrose, making sure they don't get that opportunity. But Texas Tech, they still get that Blackbeard.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, I think, what especially Buzz and Rec can do here at the start of this round number 7 with so much of their utility, but they're going to go back to the Sens. They've got the Blackbeard, as you mentioned. They can play that kind of front-to-back overall style. But St. Ambrose, their defense, if we remember back to map number 1, very locked down, very good. Momo King on the Stenari has been solid as well, so... And Brapton, I mean, even has the Solus that caused Texas Tech so much problems. So, yes, there is no Goyo. There's a little bit less delay overall. But I'd honestly favor St. Ambrose on those bans, just getting rid of both of those shields.
Yeah, again, I think that's something that they heavily relied on over on map 1. You could even say that their 2 attacking rounds 1 were just based off of the efforts from the Blitz and the Blackbeard. So removing that, especially on such a big map with a lot of long hallways like Consulate, it's going to make it really difficult for Texas Tech to move around this map, get control a lot of that map, and on top of that, an Azami doubled up with a Maluzi and Denari. A lot of space denial from the defense. That's what I really like, is not only do teams... Oh no! Dibblicious just missing the shots on Rec. Rec just being absolutely blessed. Brap also playing all the way down below. So St. Ambrose playing really spread out but aggressive at the same time.
And that'll be interesting too to test kind of what their initial duels look like if they can find the wins. Obviously you didn't get the kill on Rec, but you did get the damage and some of that outside information. Dosey-Do on the low ground for them too, as they try to play off the shield, but there's a lot of lines left to watch. They'll send a Flores drone in. 6 seconds still left to go, trying to destroy something, but doesn't get anything. Toss the nade out as well. And destroy 2 of those wires, but still a lot to work with here, and only about 100 seconds to go for Buzz and the rest of the crew. They've now got to deal with these late round of zombies that Blabla is going to put up.
Getting a lot of use from this Denari, but well-timed with that Azami there. A minute and a half, and honestly, a lot of map control. They have a decent setup here. Great with the opening on to Dibblicious. That's really huge. Texas Tech has been phenomenal at shutting down these entry engagements. But here comes Brap. All the way downstairs. He can make his way up, down, below, or play spoilers when they go for that plant. Because he has that scan, he has the Solus. So, an opportunity to do a lot here. And yeah, he's going to create that vertical on the default plant.
I like the Senswall, though, to give Ghosts a lot of access here to a lot of different places. But specifically, we'll play right up to the backside of it. It's going to be Blah Blah taken down from Gray, who's found themselves a double kill. Just above 45 seconds left to play for the Red Raiders. And Ghost is going to fake away that defuse, see if they can't chunk out that position down low. And it's going to be Brapton who just can't win that early duel. So it is. Diffuser down to half. Diffuser is going to be up. We'll go into a post-plane scenario. For the headshots, they won't come, and the damage through the wall just not there. Brapton trying to look for the engagement, but this is so much time lost already. Flashbang goes out. Momo King finds a headshot, and it's starting to avalanche in the favor of St. Ambrose. Momo King dropped very low. 30 seconds left to go as they've got to try and get the takedown of it. But Camo, the low HP, is good enough for the kill. And Momo Kill, they're limited, is nothing left to go with their HP. And Texas Tech just close it out off a very patient hold.
And Texas Tech, they're storming back here on map 2. St. Ambrose, no answer whatsoever. 3 rounds completely unanswered. A phenomenal first attacking round. And just going above all expectations I had. I talked about that they were going to have a struggle getting that map control. That was no problem for them whatsoever. They had a 4v3 in that execution. I even said that they're going to be struggling with that Solus down below. Well, Solus retook space upstairs, tried to fight horizontally, and it just didn't work. St. Ambrose, though, saying to themselves that they still like what they had set up in that round. It just came down to the execution. So taking us back to the exact same map, or site, rather.
And now all of a sudden, I mean, for Texas Tech, what was a tough outlook, I would say, on this map is becoming much better. 2 rounds away from securing it and evening up this series 1-1 in overall score. A lot of rounds still left to play in this one. And of course, for St. Ambrose, they have to wait a few more to get that next ban in. It's going to be very similar in the shield selection, but very different from everything behind it. I mean, you've got the Line, you've got Grim, you've even got Camo, who has been one of the best fraggers on this entire team, dropped onto the glass for this one. So the access to some of that long range is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it has just been astonishing what Texas Tech has been able to do. Obviously, it's not done just yet. Looks like they're going to try to go for a little bit of a different plan here. They got the Grim with the positions, especially they're holding on the windows. It looks like they're going to be going for a CO plant, but with the Chonka on board, you also have Dibalicious behind that desk. It's going to be really difficult to do this. A nice play smoke there from the glass. Camo's able to find one. He's able to find 2 with it completely catching them off guard. Buzz with another one. It's just Brap and Blah Blah in the 2v4.
Maybe that's enough. I mean, they're immediately bringing it back to a 2v2 straight up. Camo's trying to swing it. Looks the wrong angle. And Brapton will find their double. Gray is all that is left here, and we'll find a takedown. Finds them both. Why not? Line them up, Larry. The swing in takedown like nothing you've seen before. Texas Tech is on map point.
I mean, nothing that St. Ambrose is doing is going to work. Texas Tech, again, it's about this confidence. They're going for these gunfights, these really aggressive. They had that set up. They pushed all 5 people into the bomb site all at once, just 45 seconds into the round. That's something that we didn't see on map 1. That's something that we didn't see that aggression on the first half of this map of Consulate. And St. Ambrose, they have no answer. And for the very first time in this entire series, we're going to be seeing a timeout. And Texas Tech, I mean, again, on the attacking half, sure, St. Ambrose, they still have that defense to fall behind. But with the momentum behind them, their ability to just meet St. Ambrose at every single entry, every single gunfight, and win it on top of it, I mean, I don't think they really have a chance to come back. They're going to have to work a miracle off of this timeout.
I mean, even best case scenario, you get it back to 6-6, and then you have to go over to overtime and then win from there. So, obviously, the silver lining in this all is St. Ambrose did start up the series by winning the first map. So, even if they lose the
Attackers need
second
to
one,
locate and
it
defuse
would be
bombs.
just even. But this would be definitely a tough way to go out, and a lot of changes coming through. I honestly am surprised we haven't seen more of Cade up until this point, because it feels like those claws were so effective when you went back to map number 1 and shutting down the speed
Attackers have
and the
discovered the
utility of
location
what
of a
Texas
bomb.
Tech was able to bring. And this time they're even going to bring the castle. So a lot more defensive setup. They still have that Denari, but it is one more round away until you get those bans. If St. Ambrose can win here off the timeout, get a good ban going there, especially taking the Blackbeard off the board for that
10
triple
seconds to
shield
go.
ban, then that's where I really think they could start to win.
5 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, this is St. Ambrose map pick.
It's true.
And if we're going to have both teams continue to go pick for pick, taking each other's maps, I mean, we're going to be in here for a long one. Dibblicious going for a very aggressive run out. You can see that they still have that confidence. Even though that they're down 4 rounds, they still have the confidence. He just has to use his ears, catch this timing off correctly. Ghost getting a lot of control over here, but again, this is a defense all the way on basement. And they've got 2 players upstairs. So you have to be very careful in how you play this. You don't want to overextend your hand, but they could lead this Blackbeard into a trap, honestly, into a 2-man crossfire, but Buzz finds out blah blah from behind. And are they aware of this Mozzie over by meeting?
I mean, surely you don't expect another up here, right? Dibblicious, though, has been on the unlucky side of some of those initial first-round trades, at least on this defensive half so far. You look at the down-low pressure with the track set up behind him. Rec making sure they can close out the stairway. Dibblicious will find camo, so that's the start you wanted. They are now going to know about this Mozzie, but it does add another wrinkle to this defensive side. Do you try and spend some time to clear upper, or do you just go down low? It doesn't matter. Dibblicious has already found the double kill, and Gray is no longer in this round, and you might just have an extra one. No, it's going to be the takedown headshot into a 3v3.
I mean, you've wasted 1:30, and you've gotten the thermite off the board. They're not going to be able to open any of these walls whatsoever. Even with a Blackbeard, I mean, this is going to be really difficult for Texas Tech to work around. I mean, you're just going to have to funnel in through these doorways. St. Ambrose still also has a C4 in the pocket of Momo, so there's a lot to work with. They could just bait this Blackbeard into the right position. They still have the castle barricades up. They haven't cleared this first floor whatsoever. I mean, this is a really difficult position. It's not even about where the bomb site is. It's also about the positioning, the lack thereof for Texas.
And the timing, too, they're already down to 40 seconds, so they're going to have to play a little bit aggressive here to try and get this take. St. Ambrose trying to keep themselves alive here in map number 2. They'll play off those low Denari lines, and a quick hit coming through some of the breakables as Rec escapes back on the bottom side of Spiral. Ghost is going to go lurking with the shield. Now, there's a lot of players set up on the A side of things that could aid in the advancement, but that claw is going to delay him even further. The shots are going to go, but Bud's going to find the kill on a Cypher. It's a double kill from Rec, and it's Texas Tech that solidifies map number 2 and ties up this series.
I mean, going into this map, I had low hopes, but Texas Tech coming back with a storm as we move on to our next 2 maps, which, keep in mind, both of these teams have played against each other. And last time Texas lost at 0-2, but the context of Consulate, I mean, we could see a completely different game going to these next couple of maps.
And I'm hoping so. I mean, these have been a little bit less close maps, to say the least. 7-3 on the first one, 7-2 on the second one. But this map number 3 is going to decide who gets to series point first. The national championship on the line here for the Division 2 side of NECC. We're going to have to wait for map number 3, though. Before we go, we got to hit a little bit of a break. So don't go too far. More Rainbow Six action right after this.
still have common days. Get caught in traffic during your commute. Overthink a text message. Get a song stuck in your head. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Rainbow Six Siege NECC Nationals. And we've still got a best of 5, 2 maps. Both teams taking their opponent's maps pick as we go into map 3. But before that, we've got some uncommon traits to look at. We've got a lot to talk about, a lot of good and bad for both teams. To start things off for St. Ambrose, their shield game. The shield operators, the Blitz, the Monty, they live and die on these operators. And while they had a ton of success on map 1, it was taken away on map 2. So they need to continue to find different avenues when those shields are taken away. And they also need to watch their back, because there was constant flanks that, even though they had a little bit of their own, they were dying to. So they need to have info, especially in the mid to late rounds. But more importantly, throughout all of these points, they need to keep that aggression. And a majority of the rounds, especially going under their attack on Consulate, when they were able to win those rounds, it was from their confidence and their aggression to win those gunfights.
I think it's pretty interesting to see for St. Ambrose and how they'll build up. But for some uncommon traits brought to you by the Army National Guard for the Texas Tech side of things, I think that for themselves, they've had one player in particular in Buzz who has kind of stood out more than anything else. Buzz has been very on point in terms of finding those first bloods, delivering in those mid rounds. So keeping Buzz alive, I think, is going to be important for Texas Tech. I also think when you jump down the line, their mid-round executes are either very beautiful or go completely off a cliff. So being able to kind of converge yourself back to those mid-rounds, being able to control things and control the map around you, and don't get too aggressive. When we talk about fighting as a team, fight together, win together. Too many times have this team kind of stacked together and given St. Ambrose these early and easy multi-kills, and then to finish off rounds as well, you want to find angles that are differentiated from each other, so you're not giving up anything for free, but you also don't want to give any 1v1s for free. So I'll be interested to see how Buzz and the rest of the team play. You talked about it, Goose. I mean, the winner of this next one moves on to Series Point in this best of 5. There's no more second chances. It's going to be a national championship trophy that one of these two teams lifts after the end of day today.
Yeah, and as we talk about the maps going forwards, the next one is Border, and after that is Chalet. And these are 2 maps that are very important because both of these teams already played each other against it. It was St. Ambrose, though, that was able to get the better, an 8-7 win on Border and then a 7-5 win on Chalet. And going into today, I saw those 2 maps and I got a little worried. I mean, St. Ambrose also in their lower bracket final play Border, lost it again there. But with how they're playing, and especially going back to that third point, that aggression on one of the most, if not the most aggressive maps of Border, I mean, the context has changed. My viewpoint going into these next 2 maps, I mean, it could really flip either way.
So I would get to play these best of 5s. Lots of fun this week, of course. So much going on at the NECC from this week and to next week. I know the big nationals for the Division 1 side will be happening live in San Antonio, Texas. So if you guys are not already, hit the follow button here on our main NECC YouTube and over on the Twitch as well to catch all of that action for the in-person finals for a lot of those titles. But, I mean, Goose, jumping back in here to this map number 3, this will be a real telltale sign of, I think, where we're going to go for the rest of the series. Not only, again, does the winner of this next map get 2 chances to try and close things out, but this has been a very volatile map for both these 2 teams.
Yeah, in all honesty, I think this is a map that Texas Tech should win. The aggression that we saw over on Consulate was near perfect. And it's not just, playing real aggressive, just really running in the map, going for the kills. It was that utility, the Glaz, the smokes with that, the Yings, and the timing with it. They used that utility down to a T almost perfectly. And that's what a lot of teams that try to play into that aggressive play style get wrong. And the fact that Texas was able to get that right going into Border, they should set themselves up pretty.
Be interesting as well. You talk about Texas Tech's success. It's been nice on Border, except when you go back to that winners final, semifinal, whatever you want to call it, the match before this grand final. We went 15 rounds in map number 2, but St. Ambrose was able to win in overtime, was able to win in a 2-0 sweep, and even though both those two maps were close, they were the ones that had the close-out factor. And that's honestly what map number 1 felt like, right? Where St. Ambrose, they had a lot of these very weird rounds that ended up in like 1v1 or 1v2 scenarios, but they had the close-out factor. And they had a whole map to learn. They had a whole map to think about how those strategies want to develop, and we are all tied up now. So I think for them, it'll be interesting to see how they start this map, especially because they're the ones that get to start on the attacking side.
Yeah, I mean, 1 round away from winning that map, you go over to Schley, you were 1 round away from going into overtime. And again, with how close those rounds were, the games themselves, the 7-3, 7-2, not so much there, but the rounds themselves were really close, especially there on map 2. I mean, we constantly saw the tide swing both ways. We saw a 1v3, we saw a 1v2, but that's St. Ambrose putting themselves in those positions. They were there by themselves, playing aggressive, not winning those opening picks. You talked about that with Buzz, him finding a ton of success in those opening engagements. So St. Ambrose, they just have to put themselves in better positions.
I think that as well. And also, you know, when we talk about some of the things that Texas Tech could do a little bit better, I think for St. Ambrose, trying to play off each other. I mean, too many times we saw Dibblicious going in solo and like, I'm just going to go do gridlock things and everything will be fine. And then dies in the middle of the map with no support behind them. They lose all that information and all of that space. So playing more as a cohesive unit. I know. I mean, when finals comes, you're going to need step-up performances from a lot of individual players. I think Blah Blah is who I'm going to be looking for to go back to this map number 3, step back up to something similar that they had to map number 1. But that's all the question. Somebody's getting serious point. I'm ready to find out who.
Yeah, we're going to be heading to Border for our 3rd map. Only one team can take control of this series. This is a map that both teams are very familiar with. Texas Tech more so, even though they haven't found a whole lot of success, they have the momentum behind them to potentially find it today.
Let's head on into the ban phase here for this map number 3. Of course, the rest of our map pool, as we talked about, Chalet is going to be that number 4, and then if necessary, map 5 Bank is what is expected on the horizon. So first bands coming through, the Mira and the Sala Snake. It's going to be good information take off the board, and I think especially from that Texas Tech side, that's a really good operator to ban away.
Yeah, I mean, Border has kind of crept up as one of Snake's best maps because you're constantly getting in close engagements. And not only that, it's a lot smaller of a map, so your drones aren't really going to get as far. They're going to get shot by the defense a lot more. So having that little bit extra bit of utility with that Snake is going to help, especially for a team like that St. Ambrose that has really been using it. And to be fair, even Texas Tech leaning into it quite a bit themselves.
Won't be playable here for at least this first half of map number 3, and Texas Tech going to move back to their defensive side. St. Ambrose on towards the attacking side of this one. And it has been kind of interesting getting to see, you know, these two teams taking hold of each other's map pick, getting control of the setups. And now it'll be interesting to see what Texas Tech does. They're going to bring, I think the Goyo this time is smart. We haven't seen too much of it in the series in general, but it has been banned away for a large portion, and for the other side, it's been interesting to see how much prevalence Sens has gotten in this one, where I know the wall is very good to lock off certain hallways and certain vision markers, but man, I think this is the most I've ever seen Sens in a competitive game.
Yeah, I mean, Sens, especially in recent times, it's kind of an operator that only certain teams of certain play styles like to use, and that's teams that just use that utility to push their aggression, not just the individual gunfights. And this is a team, and this is a play style that St. Ambrose has really leaned into. They've never been a team that just uses a drone and then an entry player behind it to clear the space. They usually use a lot of this utility. You can even say the exact same thing for a Grim in the Glass with Blah Blah. They've used those smokes to clear space, to deny space and clear out defenders. And this is a playstyle that's not going to change from map to map. This is something that's set perfectly, and Doublelicious catching off Buzz in the very first opening pick.
That's a good one to get. Ghost isn't going to find anything. They'll go back to the intelligence side room here and watch over from the blurred out cameras. They do have those castle barricades to try and slow down St. Ambrose, but already a lot opened up towards this balcony side. And again, they have blah blah back in the glass, so there's a lot of longer angles on this map that can be exploited from this operator. And you can get a lot of information just from using what's in this one operator's kit. They were worried about Ghost maybe coming back out, so we'll send some more players to try and cover over the top. But Brafton is already in a great spot. They've got smokes to cover it up with glass, and honestly, St. Ambrose a really good 90-second usage. And Camo needs to find this headshot. Just shoot your gun. There it is. Doublelicious will be the trade after taking down Buzz. They're the first casualty.
Ghost also going to retake his position inside of security. Blah blah is aware that somebody's here. He doesn't have the exact info on where this player is. Ghost swings out a couple of hit points onto him, but it looks like blah blah throwing this smoke down to try to really push this aggression, see if anybody's going to swing out. But Texas Tech doing a phenomenal job just staying back, playing passive.
See how passive they play, though, once blah blah enters. It is a double kill on the setup from the glass. And it's already down to nothingness. I mean, it is just sharpshooter century for blah blah. As Momo King finishes off the job. The long angles work, and the Bees will take round one.
I mean, a phenomenal round of St. Ambrose setting up a game plan, a win con, and following through from start to finish. The entire idea of that round was to try to get that plant down over inside of Armory. First point you did was need to at least clear or have pressure onto that security position so you couldn't swing. That's exactly what they did. They also then used blah blah on that aggressive glass to clear the space and get that bomb down. It was a perfect round of just always trusting the process. And again, St. Ambrose, especially on the attack versus Texas Tech, they're not a team that's just going to flood the bomb site all at once. They're a very methodical team that plans out from the start and tries to follow through with that plan through in and through out.
I will say, I mean, even though some of their plans haven't worked, it feels like St. Ambrose is always on the same on the same page, excuse me. The plan always seems like everybody has it locked in, even if the plan isn't necessarily a good one, which for better or for worse has gotten themselves to this position. We end the starter phase here and go back to the action as St. Ambrose will swap things up after winning that first one. They're going to bring back out this Twitch, but the Nomad, lovely stuff with those airbursts. Again, a very wide open map. You can cause a lot of damage just from what you're bringing from Omo.
I really love how St. Ambrose, they're just watching these doorways and windows. They're just expecting these aggressive runouts, and Buzz with a nice shot from downtown onto blah blah. That's that glass off the board. He's not going to be able to even throw one smoke. That's a phenomenal find in this opening round. That DMR on the Aruni really just punishing these attackers. And no immediate trade either. That's really big for the defense.
It's been a lot of fun to watch blah blah versus Buzz, and that 1v1 between the two of them. Buzz finding the first blood here in this round. It was the reverse in that last one. Right now, though, for St. Ambrose, just 4 players left alive off that early take. They've got time. They've got some information, too, as well. Ghost is going to be taken down to about a fourth of their HP left to go. Barbed wire in the staircase makes Doublelicious in almost a stuck spot on this bottom side hatch, and Ghost is going to find him. So there's a 2 for the price of nothing. No trades in Texas Tech and a lot of control. But it's going to be Buzz who's the trade away.
Momo finally finds that answer back in minute 25. St. Ambrose, they're not completely out of this yet. Just playing around this balcony position. They don't have any map control whatsoever. Really feels like they're just trying to force their heads through this wall. Ghost going for a run out. There's no Claymore. That's an easy one for him. Another run out attempt from Camo. He's not going to find anything, but he's not going to lose any damage either.
Just 2 players left to go for St. Ambrose. They're going to play it together. They've got the Grim, so They can do a lot with the Bees here to make sure to clear out entry positions. They'll try and play it together. Rek is here on the Jaeger to try and force the issue. They've got to deal with the Aruni barricades, and Camo's going to find the headshot onto Momo King. Cypher would need an unholy experience here in this round to try and clutch up. They'll hit the reload. Yet to kill, yet to die here in this 2 rounds so far, and will explode the fire extinguisher on their way in. But Texas Tech has got the entry route covered. Cypher finds the first, letting them isolate here. Ghost is still relatively low, but only 15 seconds to go. Cypher just trying to press the go button. Texas Tech has pulled things back. They bring up the red light as they've got all 3 still left alive. Some extra chip damage over the top, and that's it. Rek will clean it up for Texas Tech.
Yeah, I mean, it's a round where St. Ambrose is doing the exact same thing. There was no real attempt to get map control. No one over by East Stairs. Nobody trying to play the vertical from down below. I mean, it's kind of a round where they just really didn't do a whole lot. Obviously, you lose that opening pick, so that's going to really slow you down, change the shift of the momentum in the round. But, I mean, after that, I mean, they were just kind of baiting for kills, baiting those angles. I mean, sure, they eventually found one, but it's kind of a game where you just sit and wait, and the defense, they're happy to play that. And St. Ambrose, they're going to have to really change it up. They can't just play dull like that, round after round.
I also think, again, just following up some of those picks, trying to play a little bit better together. Blah Blah specifically gets taken out there with no real recourse. And now Texas Tech is going to go into a slightly different defensive composition. They've got those Cade Claws. They've also got the Thorn to really slow things down. St. Ambrose is going to go back to the shield game as you recommended. And we'll see what their eventual decider is. It looks like Blackbeard. And that is the selection. Blah Blah back at the gridlock. Brapton on that frontliner. We'll see what St. Ambrose can do here in round number 3.
1-1. Bringing the Blackbeard out. Very first time. The main focus of this round is just really clearing this top floor. But it looks like they're actually going for a take over by Customs. And I honestly really like this. Trying to take control of any map space that Texas has left up for free. Kind of saving time. You don't really have to worry about trying to clear these players out. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit difficult with that vertical control. But no way. Grap's just going to find one for free. Ghost. It's on a swivel. Looking the wrong way. Texas, they're going to try to retake space to slow down this attack. They've fully read what the idea here is.
I mean, Camo is in a 1v2 scenario, but Momo King's gonna die to Buzz. What is going on? They let Buzz survive for way too long. It's Brapton who's the trade away. It is a bloodbath of misinformation. St. Ambrose still survived with 2. But what a horrible turn of events after everything was going their way. The Red Raiders still have 2 as well, and it's now a stalemate between the 2 teams.
A really nice crossfire being held by Rek. But he's going to get spotted out. Blah Blah just finding him running away. No info here on Gray. So he could play spoilers, but with a Nomad jab outside his doorway, it's going to be difficult to move around. C4 to get out. He tries to go for the kill, but Blah Blah on a turret's going to shut him down. It's going to take back that lead.
Good enough for the clutch, good enough for the take back, and St. Ambrose on their attacking side will move to 2. We'll get some bans in, but again, boy, what a bloody round. St. Ambrose started with some mass decision of where they were going to go, that really nice hit like you talked about, but Texas Tech had some answers. They just couldn't find a way to play that 2v2, or honestly just a little bit too isolated. It is the Castle and the Ying banned away in our second phase.
I mean, again, that entire round, you could just describe it as a dogfight. And that's how Porter is. It's just dogfight after dogfight. Just maneuvering your way through the mud, trying to find anything you can get. You're going to have constant situations where you have 3 players from both sides all bunched up together, fighting for map control. And you don't have time to adjust. You don't really have time to think. It just comes down to, whatever team can get dirty, get down in the mud, and take control. And that's why you see a lot of utility. That's why you see the flashes, the nades, this displacement utility. So reliant on these attacking teams because oftentimes you really do absolutely need it to win these rounds.
10 seconds.
And
to
we wouldn't want it
insertion.
any other way. I mean, these two teams in a grand final
5
position.
seconds to go.
A dogfight, the only way to play it. After the bans, though, St. Ambrose,
Attackers are
pretty much
moving
the
out to
same
locate
thing.
a
They're going
bomb
to play
and
off this
defuse it.
Blackbeard. Rapton has been very good to lead the charge. The question is, did they drone and did they find the information on the Capcom, who's going to be setting up some of those traps to try and get very easy kills? And if they go way too fast to this doorway, this could be in for a little bit of a sweet treat in the Texas Tech side.
Yeah, I just really love the trap utility here that Texas is bringing out. It's going to not only slow down, but again, with how fast that Ambrose has been moving around this map, it could trip them up. I mean, one wrong step and you're dead. I mean, it just takes one Thorn and Capcan and you're taken off. And especially with just how much pressure Texas is putting on this top floor. 2 players playing up together, over by Bathroom, or Fountain rather. Just trying their best, even someone all the way over by East Stairs. So they're going to live and die on this top vertical. And that's something that St. Andrews, they're ready to play into. They want to play into this.
Got some impacts available. Gray is just barely going to dodge away from that first one. 100 seconds to go. The phones will ring out here. See who picks up. Dibalicious wants to pick up some extra information on the droning. And they'll go right back to it. Turning off those signals just in the nick of time here to make sure nobody's position given away. Texas Tech holding down here. Brapton once again will take a few early shots, but it's not enough to put them super low. And once again, they have this spearheaded composition. Buzz in a great spot, though, to shut down from lower.
St. Ambrose kind of stalling here a little bit. 2 minutes gone, and they're still just in Armory. They have no idea where this defense is. Ghost holding a nice vertical position. Still haven't cleared the 2 players out over by Fountain. I mean, they're just struggling in the water here.
Delicious here on the long range as well. Doesn't want to take any close range fights if they don't have to. It's a first kill from Buzz, immediately traded from the impact. Rapton on those nades has been very solid so far, but playing all 4 together, they're going to drop down through the hatch. It's a lot of space, but it's too much pressure right now from Cypher, who dies to the close range of Camo. It is a great setup from Texas Tech as they rip down a couple bodies. 2 down already. The Fighting Bees need an answer, and they need it now as they try and work from all the space and all the information that they have. Dibalicious sure has an extra, and it's going to be Blablo fights the kill. Dibalicious takes down Buzz, and all of a sudden this round has been turned on its head. Rek needs to clutch up. Ghost is there for assistance, and Dibalicious will die on the drop down. The Red Raiders earn another one.
Again, it just comes down to the timing. Texas Tech, because there's only 15 seconds left, St. Ambrose struggling, just hitting that gas on the last half of the round. They were able to just take a lot of gunfights without the expectance of St. Ambrose because you didn't have time to drone. You didn't have time to fully gather that info. Capcan getting quite a bit of use. Even the Cade finding quite a bit of his own. And again, if you didn't just stall in that midpoint of the round and you just took that map space relatively quickly. I mean, there's only 2 players on that top floor. You had a Blackbeard. There wasn't really any need to take that extra time to just kind of struggle. And again, it really is about just setting up those early or those late rounds rather for St. Ambrose. When they have a really good setup, they win the rounds, but they don't have the time or the man count needed to really get off that execute. They're not able to recover from it.
10 seconds remaining.
Haven't been changing up too much either on their attacking side operators. It's really just been this Blackbeard front-heavy composition, and because they haven't been able to get that space fast enough, I do actually really like the change on Blabla to Deimos. Not only because, again, you get a little bit of extra information to play off of that isn't the direct Dokiebi if they don't pick up the phone, but you also get Blabla on something that can frag out, that was made to frag out, who is already up to 7 kills for Blabla. That's something you'll love to see.
God, banning the Ying out over a Deimos, the Blackbeard, really saying to themselves that, you know, we're not scared of that shield operator. We're not scared of that information. We can play around that. It's rather that displacement utility they wanted to get rid of. Castle on board is going to make getting around the map a little bit easier for St. Ambrose. Again, it is really just about St. Ambrose wasting their own time, being a little bit too scared. Again, that lack of confidence that's really costing them on the attack specifically. And Texas Tech, again, they're not over-aggressive. They're okay to just sit back, let St. Ambrose waste their own time.
Buzz is going to be the target of Blah Blah here. Now, halfway through this round number 5. Oh, nice shot from Blah Blah. That's a nice headshot. That'll take Buzz off the board. No first blood for them. Rooney dead. Camo thinking about swinging this. It's a isolation on a 2-on-1. And if you can take out this Denari, oh man, so much space to be gifted away. But if you lose this, it could isolate Brapton for the worst. So neither team necessarily wanted to give it up, but Camo is going to die. And that's the go button. Sure, Blah Blah will die, but this is a great start to the round for St. Ambrose.
Yeah, they just need to keep that momentum. It's really important that they clear this Canadian and Fountain position. Breck and Gray trying their best to hold. A minute left. You don't want to waste any time. 3 smoke babes still in the pocket of Gray, so he can waste a little bit of time of his own. I mean, they're just standing here. They're trying to get a lot of info, but they're just not reacting off of it. Again, they're just stalling for little to no reason.
Amber's still with a +1, but they're going to lose that very quickly as Demolicious will die to Rek. Outer door is destroyed here on the window side. Rek's going to go for the jump out and die to Cypher. Oh, a detrimental overcommitment, and Momo King finds the kill. All of a sudden, the stall doesn't matter. It is down to Ghosts, who is left all to their lonesome, trying to find the coup de grace to deliver a final kill, but it's Momo King over the top of their shield up, and St. Ambrose will find their 3rd.
Finally getting the better of Texas Tech, getting the lead here on border. And again, I mean, Jaeger swinging into that. They try to get so much more info, and you still put yourself in a bad position. Again, I think it's really the struggle of just that first half of the round. If St. Ambrose is able to set themselves up, even in 2v2 situations, we saw that 2v2 over in round 2, they were able, even through all the struggle, round 3 rather, even through all the struggle, even through the dogfight in the mud over there, they're still able to claw it out. That round again, putting themselves in a 3v1, they're not going to lose that. A Blackbeard, a really long crossfire all the way on Office Wall. When they have the lead, when they have the position to put themselves in really good crossfires, really good positions, they don't let it slip. And that's something that Texas Tech is scary. They live and die essentially in these early rounds, especially getting these opening kills.
That's good to point out too. I mean, it's been Blah Blah finding Buzz so many times here, winning the 1v1. I think 3-1 is the score right now between these 5 rounds. And St. Ambrose has been really good at snowballing towards the side of victory. It's not too much change on that Texas Tech side. They will change who's playing each operator. So Ghost this time is going to run the Arunians. They swap Buzz on over to the Tubarão. And it's going to be another Blackbeard base composition Nomad at the front lines. And you've got this kind of Cypher Blah Blah backup to deal with the mid-round pressure. But Texas Tech already has to deal with some of these drones coming out from Demolicious.
Yeah, kind of curious on why they're bringing the Brava on the last round of attack. It is a really good adaptation to that Echo, another operator that we're now just seeing for the very first time, but already wasting one of those drones. Demolicious probably going to lose the other one, but now Ghost not able to get that. So still going to be able to get a little bit of use out of that. Again, Ghost trying to play over in this security position, this time around with the DMR. Well, this positioning for St. Ambrose, they might be able to just switch over and attack inside of Archives.
Interested to see with 10 players still left alive, though. Oh, make that 9. Demolicious dies to Ghost, who's up to 5 kills here. Impact goes out. Loses a lot of HP, I will say, and Momo King will finish off Buzz. So Texas Tech, not with the health bars they want to play off of, but they've got Rec in a must-win position here. You lose this out, you give up basically the rest of the map. And Brapton is once again just going to shield charge their way through those outer setups as Texas Tech looks to hold the line.
Brap taking a lot of heat from those impacts. Ghost and Wreck, they go down. And it's a 2v4. Camo just staring in the face of a Blackbeard, and Blah Blah with 2 to finish the round out. A 4-2 half for them on the attack. And this aggression I talked about that was so good for Texas Tech. St. Ambrose doing a little bit of their own game.
I mean, their attacking side is beautiful. I just love how they play together. Their moments of speed and aggression. I know we've criticized them for some of their stalling, but when they like to go, boy, do they go. They've got a 2-round advantage heading into the second half, as we'll have to see what their defense looks like. And they're immediately going to take the Blackbeard off the board. I wonder if it's going to be another triple shield ban away. And for Texas Tech, they want to take away the castle, deny some of those inner sight potential, and really force St. Ambrose to think about whether or not they want to duel towards the outer sides or fight towards the lonely inner sides.
Yeah, I really like that Blitz and Blackbeard ban, leaving the Monty up. Because out of those 3 operators, especially on a map like this that is so close-knit, those are the 2 shield operators you want to take off the board, especially for Texas Tech. Again, I spoke about in our uncommon traits that Texas Tech, a lot of the times on their attack, live and die on those shields. And especially on a map like Border, they, in theory, were really going to need it. But both of those being taken off the board very early on, immediately opting onto that Monte, sure, you could still get a lot of use on it. Clear away, you could still essentially use it as a spearhead, but you can't play as aggressive. You can't go for those aggro gunfights.
That can change a lot. I mean, St. Ambrose on this kind of backside lurk too, with the Frost, with the Goyo. They've got so much just out of your face utility that I don't know that Texas Tech will be expecting. Ghost will select the last shield operator available in the Monty. And you've also got a lot in towards this Sens wall where you can play off of a sight hit very quickly if you get space. That roller wall up and available. Camo going to be playing the Deimos, so chances to lock somebody down off the long range.
Yes, Mirror's going to be a little bit of a difficulty. I'm looking around, and there's no immediate trade. There's no Ash. There's nothing to really get rid of this. You don't even have a Twitch on the board. So literally the only way to get rid of this Mira is to run up and smack it. But that is going to be so difficult. This is going to waste a lot of time and deny a lot of space from Texas Tech.
For Texas Tech, though, got to be careful to not overextend. Giving something like Blah Blah a chance to continue to frag out. Already 11 kills for them. Dibblicious take an adventure over to the balcony side and not find anything in terms of vision or kills. So has to assume it's actually coming pressure from a different way. And St. Ambrose has really turned up the timing here. The pressure is on Texas Tech. They are in the hot seat here in this round.
Yeah, Brap just holding that jump in. And there it is. He jumps in and immediately hits that Frost. And he's able to get out and get out of dodge. Can't say the same for Buzz. Camo's going to be able to trade that relatively quickly. Playing this vertical from down below. He can do a lot of damage here. But it's really this Monty that needs to clear the way, because they need to try and find a spot to try and get this diffuser down.
The other problem, not a lot of time to do so. Down to 60 seconds here, and we'll eventually be battling into Brap, who will see the shield back off just a little bit into the basics of the site and try and play off of what their teammate setup is going to be. It's going to be Camo with a few more helicopters to send targeting towards their opponents. But Blah Blah still alive. You still got those Miras, and there is a lot of time left on the table. The Red Raiders need to find some answers other than just walking at them with the Monty.
Yeah, really nice crossfire being held here onto Fountain. Completely removing the capability to flank But again, it just comes down to trying to get this bomb down. C4 in the pocket of Momo. So they have potential for explosive utility there. And they're just going to hit. They're going to try to put this bomb down now.
15 seconds remaining.
Camo loses so much HP on the entry. Sure, Ghost gets a pistol kill, but I mean, they've got this covered. Cypher in the site. It's going to be a double kill, though. They get them both dead. Blah, blah will need to clutch up. The diffuser will go down just in the nick of time here. And Texas Tech will try and play off this one. It goes down as a triple kill from Camo, and they know the position. Blah, blah has to be cautious here. They've got the Deimos target. Camo's health bar is not too great, but the Monty definitely entices things on where to go. 30 seconds left for the St. Ambrose clutch factor to try and kick in. And the Monty is just going to solo dolo hold the door here, try and push him off with the dagger, try and get a freebie. It's not going to go. The wait on the timing. The shots are there from Camo, and Texas Tech gets their clean up.
Again, a really nice minimal take there from Texas. Essentially the exact same that we saw from St. Ambrose in the very first round on Border. Just getting the exact map control you needed, holding the cutoff on that rotate from Fountain over into security so they can't go for that flank. Eventually, Frost did eventually go for it, but you'd already got the bomb down. You had control inside the bomb site. So fantastic there from Texas to start things off. And it's a round where as soon as they got that control inside of security and cut off Fountain completely, the round was over. There was no way for St. Ambrose to deny that plant from going down.
I mean, realistically, you would have had to use that two-player swing to get more than just the one takedown. And for Texas Tech, using some of their own speed to start things off again for St. Ambrose, you aren't able to get rid of all three of these shielded operators until 2 more rounds pass away. So for Texas Tech, you've got to take full advantage of it now. They're actually going to swap over to the Galaz and put Camo onto an even more volatile operator. And they're going to bring the Twitch to try and shut some things down. St. Ambrose, it's a similar strategy where they're bringing those Frost mats, but I do like the Kapkan. Again, it's one of my favorites just to get freebies if you can find them.
It's like Camo's waiting for something. I'm not exactly sure what info he has. Bringing the Glaz yet again. Gray also has just been completely silenced here on map 3. Not finding any success whatsoever. And you could really tell, sure, they're only down 1 round, but they are missing that quite a bit. And again, it's kind of a thing where, you know, especially on an operator like Ace, there's just one opportunity he could come back. He could have huge effect. We know he can. He did on map 1 and 2. It's just about having that consistent confidence. Even when you're able to find absolutely nothing, still so many rounds to be played, so many opportunities that he can take advantage of.
I think same could be said, too, about Dibalicious, who only has 2 kills so far in the 7 rounds on the Fenrir here in this defensive side. He needs to be able to roam and find damage all at the same time with those Fenrir traps, and has a good angle to do so. The question is, does Ghosts and crew want to jump in? They already have broken through the window, so yes, the answer is going to go. Dibalicious is not going to survive. He doesn't even get back to Fountain. It's the pistol from Ghost that'll finish him off from behind. Here's Buzz on the takedown. It's Gray who will find their first kill of this map, and Texas Tech is up +2.
A minute still to play with a 5v3. I mean, this is such a comfortable position. A very strong one at that. Momo almost flicks onto the head of Rek, but he's going to escape. Be getting the single wall open. I mean, this is a round that, unless Texas Tech does something horribly wrong, they should be able to close it out.
I have said that before, though. Texas Tech has to make sure they're not stacking up in any sort of favor. Rapton takes a big shot. Probably knocked down to a 5th of their health bar. Momo King, though, starts it off with a bang. Rek is dead. Camo trades. It's a nice takedown from Gray as they find their double kill. And Cypher's Goyos won't be able to delay for far enough. It is a close-range SMG that has to clear down these long hallways and has to clear out 4 players at once. Well, there you go from Cypher. Brings it down to a 1v3. The Monty definitely makes things tough. Obviously gaining some extra intel. Ghost could just swing this with the pistol and try and get the kill. You don't want to give him the isolation though. 20 seconds left to get that counter defusal. Nice impact, nice setup, but it's going to be just not enough time to get this done. Cypher will swing and what they can to try and take down the shield, but it's actually Ghost who will find the finisher. Texas Tech has tied this thing up.
Texas Tech proving me wrong, because there's a lot of things where, you know, my theory, my kind of idea in life is you always have to put the most if you want to get everything out of it. Texas Tech said, no, we don't got to put the most at all. All we need is a little bit of map control. All they had was control of office. They didn't have full control of Fountain in that round. Had nobody inside of security. They didn't have control of Armory. They didn't have anybody playing down below. They got one single wall open. They had a Monty and they held their crossfires, and that was enough to get the bomb down. The plant was going down, and you still had two players playing all the way over in security. St. Ambrose are playing at a snail's pace in Texas Tech. They're reaping the rewards because of it. It's barbecue chicken round in and round out because St. Ambrose is moving like my grandma. And they got to pick it up if they want to make their way back here on border.
I guess I got to ask, is your grandma slow? Because I know some grandmas that are pretty fast.
I wouldn't say she's necessarily slow, but she's definitely not the fastest.
Okay. So like a mid-range granny is what we're trying to say here.
Yeah, she could get a mile or two in.
Okay. Well, Divalicious is going to try and get their steps in as they walk over the edge. And once again, don't find the early kill. Camo survives to tell the tale about it. And for Texas Tech, again, another round that they're going to be able to survive that they don't need to play the Monty this time, though. They're going to go no shield. They're going to give that up. And I will say, St. Ambrose, well, Divalicious is dead. I was going to say, you have a ton of information. You have those vault cams, but, I mean, that's a tough player to lose, especially for those first blood losses.
Yeah, that's just a gunfight you just really shouldn't be taking. And that's another thing that we haven't really spoken about, especially in this first half in these opening engagements. St. Ambrose has just been taking, like, really ill-advised gunfights in positions that don't favor them whatsoever. And again, that's Texas Tech. They're just standing their ground, essentially holding these tournament positions and letting St. Ambrose play aggressive, play into them. And that's the wrong way to play a defense. You want to try to hold and control that momentum for as long as possible. But a minute in the round of almost every of the single attacking round, it's Texas Tech just taking the control, the momentum immediately.
Already won 2 rounds straight here on this attacking side. Oh, Camo's going to find a headshot too on Momo King. So everything going wrong that could for St. Ambrose, and Blabla will at least get something back. He has been the one shining star from this team. 13 kills, almost double what anybody else has on this Fighting Beast side. Blabla will double up. He's got the double of his own. 14 kills make it done. How about a triple kill? Blabla, what did you eat this morning? Whatever it is, it's fueling you well.
A fourth for Blabla. It's Camo in a 1v3. He tried to drop that smoke to go for broke, but it doesn't matter. They know exactly where he's going to be. A couple of sprays from all 3 players, and that is wraps. But at the same time, I can't go out of my way and say, St. Ambrose, they took control. They set the pace. They dictated that round. No, it was just Blabla off the back of his absolute heroics. And sure, you know, living on one player, relying on your entire win con just off of a complete gunner works for a map or two. But in a best of 5, it only gets you so far.
It's brought St. Ambrose to this point, and at least the series is even. It's put them back up 5-4. They will ban away that 3rd shield in the Monty. On the other side, we will get the Soulless ban. So I think Texas Tech getting a little bit more use out of their ban. I mean, Texas Tech did win 2 rounds with the Monty, but we saw another okay attack in that last round if it wasn't for Blabla just absolutely smoking them. It's going to be interesting now, though. This scoreline, it's very tight, but it's also one where if you start to lose a couple rounds in a row, you just could lose the map.
Yeah. It is
Bomb located by attackers.
really difficult. And we've seen in rounds where they shut down Momo. They shut down blah blah. No one really else from St. Ambrose is really able to stand tall, make those hero plays needed to win these rounds.
5 seconds left before insertion.
And you only really have two avenues at this point if you're St. Ambrose. Do you just, one, put all your focus to try and set up blah blah in the best positions possible, really lean into him as a win con, or do you try to set up the rest of the team? Using a lot of info, I think Doublelicious on that Echo is going to be able to get a lot of work, but it's just how fast Texas Tech is getting in the map. That Echo's not going to stop that. It's the trap operators you need. You got a Rooney, but you need a little bit more than that. So then at that point, St. Ambrose, the only thing they can do to try to slow down this attack is to just meet Texas at the doorstep. Be in their face, force those gunfights early on, and that's something they haven't really had too much success on.
They are leading, though. And that frost mat is actually going to be destroyed before it eats alive Buzz. Buzz has garnered a lot of space here. That smoke as well. Camo is just going to be able to search on through it. They have opened up a lot with the Ash as well. The speed is blazing in this round from the Red Raiders as they still hold on to a 5-5. That drone is also going to tech out one more on the fountain side. Camo isn't quite able to finish it off, and if you lose these entry players, it can all fall flat on its face, but or you can slip it around the other way. Blah Blah's dead, so no more Frost in this one, and no more lead killer on the other side either. Camo's the trade. The question is, will they be able to get him up?
Yeah, Cypher still playing in this position. He has a C4 in his pocket if he wants to use it, but he doesn't have the info on the down player of Camo. He has a nice little position here. That single wall's still going to stay open. Devilish is also rotating down below, playing the vertical. A nice position because he's trying to play those echoes to deny that plant from going down. It really is a make or break here for Cypher. He's the position as soon as Texas clears him. That's the map control they need, but Dibblicious catching Ghost off guard. That's perfect.
They'll get the full finish as well on Camo, so everything's starting to work. Just a hole opened up. Two long-range barrels sticking out. There goes the C4 from Cypher that doesn't connect. Blinded and swayed away. Texas Tech down a member. The shots don't go. Finally, they'll get the trade onto Cypher. But it's all for a 3v3, and it's only a knockdown.
What?
Brapton gets the kill. And now all of a sudden, they've regained that space and maybe even threatened the resurrection. Barrel sticking out. That should be a kill. Rex somehow survives. They've just got a sliver to work with themselves. There's a kill from Brapton. It's a double kill for the round. And St. Ambrose, they need to shut down Buzz. Cypher was brought back alive. Needs to pick up and take down that diffuser. It is a 2v1. But realistically, this is the time where you've got to fight. You've got to swing it and make sure that you can't give him the isolation. Buzz is going to try and play the low and slow here. And without the time to do so, searching for the kills. Dibblicious clutches. And it will be the Fighting Bees to go back-to-back rounds.
And that's map point, potentially putting themselves on series point if they win this next round. But Texas Tech, they just need 2 to put in overtime to give themselves a chance to keep this going here on border. But again, I talked about how the rest of the team needed to step up. Blah Blah's the first one off the board for St. Ambrose. And the 4 other players on the defense are able to lock it down.
Attackers need to locate
Again,
and defuse
Texas Tech
bomb.
going for a very minimalistic take. St. Ambrose reading into that very early on and standing their ground. Making sure that they cannot take any space whatsoever. Also, not having that Monty on the board did cause a lot of issues. Again, it's a very solid round there from St. Ambrose. And not any point in that round did Texas have an answer.
St. Ambrose, they're on map point. They've got a chance to close this one out by just closing out one more. Their namesake, St. Ambrose of Milan, unexpectedly was made Bishop of Milan in 374 AD. By popular acclamation, they have been popularly accurate on their shots here throughout this map number 3. And Texas Tech needs to find some answers. It's a heavy-handed composition with a Deimos and a Glass. I'm excited to see what Camo can do on this, but again, it's an information-based composition from St. Ambrose that has worked out so well over the course of the last 2 rounds.
I really like this Capitao from Ghost. This is, I think, the first time maybe we've seen Capitao all series long, especially with how these teams have been playing. Again, I mean, just why you go for that? Gray's going to punish him for that. Potentially almost found another one, and they're right outside the bomb site. Another opening pick shut down from Texas.
It's like Tibalicious has been flipping a coin at the start of every round and just deciding their own fate just like that. Texas Tech has been maybe better lucky than good a few times to land that coin flip and land those free shots. It'll be interesting. Spread very well in the kills across this team. We talk about for St. Ambrose. Blah Blah has been him all day long. Do they have another clutch in their back pocket? The Red Raiders, they've got a lot of space. They've also got Ghost opening things up, and Warden is going to get targeted by the Deimos.
Nice one from Buzz. He's going to find a second. St. Ambrose completely cut off from the bomb site. Texas Tech, a very comfortable 5v2 here. They don't have the vert control, but it doesn't matter. They have a crossfire onto the vert over on that shield. So if they want to, they can go for this gunfight. They also have the info on Camo. They have everything they need to get this bomb down.
However, 2 of the most clutch members from St. Ambrose still left alive. We'll see what they can do in this 2v5 situation. Obviously, Camo going to try and target them out, and ideally you get the diffuser down. And it's going to be the Glass from Buzz to just spray in the extra shots and make sure they don't have a re-entry on the immediate side. So diffuser is down here. St. Ambrose will have to do something over the course of the next 40 seconds. And it's going to be Blah Blah working to the backside of Momo. And it's going to be over the top from Ghost, who does die. Momo's got the headshot. And maybe is the start of something great. Rec is going to quickly shut that down. And it's a Texas Tech take. We're going full-length regulation.
I really want to talk about Gray as a player and the positions he's playing. He plays a specific play style and position that has many names. Some call it mailbox, some call it just simply a cut. His job is to sit on one angle, hold it, and as soon as a defender walks in, he shuts them down. And essentially, these players are here as a mailbox position or a turret, per se, just standing still, making sure that you catch a player going for a rotate or a flank. And we talked about how Gray was having a relatively silent game, but playing a very simple position like that isn't really flashy. You're not getting those big plays, those big clutches. Just usually 1 to 2 kills around, but he gets the opening. He then gets the final kill on a 1v3 that in all reality was somewhat winnable. So sure, stats don't look the best and he doesn't really get the flashiest kills, but his role is one of the most important on this attacking lineup.
10 seconds left.
And it's going to be even more important going into what is this next round. Full-length regulation here for St. Ambrose. Either they close it out here, or we are going to our first overtime of the series. Gray also on that ace. You talked about the ability to use those breaching tools as soon as you can get that kill. It feels like almost like a snowball effect that starts with you. On the other side, once again, for St. Ambrose, it's pretty much the composition they've been running for the last few rounds. With that Mira, they've got those walls, they've got Blah Blah here on an isolation look, but for Ghost and the rest of the crew, they have a million ways to entry with this composition.
Yeah, really giving themselves a lot of different opportunities. Wreck, shutting down Dibblish again, constantly putting himself in these opening engagements. He's been faltering. He hasn't really been finding too much success, especially in this second half of Border. No immediate trade. And Texas Tech looking for the comeback, looking to send us into overtime. Very first overtime of this best of 5, but the second time they've been in overtime versus St. Ambrose. As we spoke about the last time, it ended in an 8-6 win. Blah Blah goes down as well. A very aggressive flank is punished. A 3v5, complete control of the top floor in favor of the attack. This is a really nice position that Texas has found themselves on.
And for Buzz as well, they've got a lot of chance to ruin the rest of these 3 players' games. St. Ambrose,
Oh no.
was a bad trade there. They got caught from the spray fire of their own teammate. And Ghost is now down to about 1/5. Camel and the rest of the crew are full HP, and again, they've got a lot of breaching tools and a lot of time to take control of this site. Cypher, though, finds at least one back.
Yeah, and with that Raura door closed off double, I mean, that allows for them to hold this cross. It actually kind of favors the defense. They're trying to press them out through this hatch, but just simply not working.
Eats the sauce there. Ghost is going to go down. That early team damage. One for the backside. Does not feel good. Cypher might be low, but all of a sudden the tides have turned. St. Ambrose, 45 seconds to try and hold on to this map. Give themselves the map point of the series, and Momo King finds the headshot. From down 3v5 to up to a 2-on-1. A double kill from Brapton late. And Gray will try and RKO him from the top rope with only 30 seconds left to go. But minimal time, minimal angles, and a jump up setup. The only silver lining is you've got the diffuser. That maybe spices things up a little bit more if you can find the timing. But realistically, Cypher's going to hold off with this pistol. It's the setup, it's the takedown, and it's the map. It's St. Ambrose that have moving themselves to series point in the grand finals here first.
Just holding Texas from sending us into overtime. It was the own utility of the attack, that Raura door on double over by passport, allowing for that smoke to play the plant denial all the way from back, giving him that cover. It really goes to show that what you might think be helping you is actually helping your opponents.
And help them they did. Obviously, the damage was there, and then the turnaround. I mean, the clutch shots as well. So many of them throughout that map number 3 where St. Ambrose was able to step up, tear things down, and move themselves to a better position. And the position they're in right now, they've got 2 chances to try and close out this series. Before we head to map number 4, though, we're going to take just a little bit of a break. So don't go too far. More Nationals action right after this.
You'll still have common days. Put off your term papers till the last minute. Eat cold pizza right out of the fridge. Update your fantasy roster. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life. You'll still have common days.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got more maps to go, and we've got a team on series point. It is St. Ambrose, just one map potentially away from sending us home. But we have Chalet as potentially our last map, and again, a playing ground that both teams have met each other at before.
This will be a really interesting one. I mean, not only because of where we are in the series and how the series has gone. Everybody's taken their opponent's map pick. Nobody's won on their own so far. So as we get this switch up, but this will be really fun because that third map was the closest one by far. We saw a lot of different strategies from these two teams and really started to see them heat up to what they really want to do going into the series. And for Texas Tech, obviously the onus is on them to try and fight through this map number 4, send us off to a map number 5, which would be a ton of fun. No bias here to see all 5 maps for a national championship. But for Texas Tech, it is going to come down to, can they solidify a good attacking side first? They picked to go here. They wanted to go here first. So as we head to the bands for map number 4, let's see what they're selecting.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is definitely a choice. And we've seen a lot of questionable choices throughout this entire map. And to be fair, most of them have turned out to work in the favor of the team that chose so. I'm very curious on these attacking bans because I feel like Chalet, other than the previous 2 maps, are going to be different. St. Ambrose, I have a feeling they're going to go for that double shield ban. That's something that Texas Tech did quite struggle with a bit back on border. Just the last map, they weren't able to play either the Blitz or the Blackbeard. They had a couple of rounds with the Monty, but after that, it was all but struggling from them. So I think that's another problem they're going to have to find the solution for. Blackbeard off the board, Tuber out also with it. And again, I mean, if we look at Texas Tech, they're banning into, more of a ban style that fits Chalet specifically. Well, St. Ambrose, they're trying to go at the throat of the play style of Texas.
And I think that's huge. I mean, especially when you start off this map, the way St. Ambrose ended that last map, they have a ton of momentum going in their favor. And if they can start out with this defensive side, 4, maybe 5 rounds to get themselves up very, very close to ending off this series, it'll give them a lot of control and a lot of time going back over towards that attacking side. Of course, we were kind of talking back in the green room about how this Frost has really worked for St. Ambrose and how we're probably going to get to see a little bit more of it, and it looks like we were right.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw that Frost over on border, I was like, this is definitely something they're going to want to play into here on Chalet.
10 seconds
But I think it's
left.
really the attack that I'm looking at for both teams, to be fair. Again, Ghosts, Texas Tech, immediately going on to this Monty. And something that we didn't really speak about is that from whether it be the operator phase, the band phase, it was St. Ambrose trying to dictate how the game is played. And shield-wise, it's exactly what they did. But it was Texas Tech in those opening engagements that got the better of St. Ambrose. And even with all of that, I mean, still being able to come out top, finish border in regulation was a huge feat that we honestly didn't think they were going to be able to. I honestly thought that was going to go to overtime.
Yeah. And, I mean, part of that, too, was Blabla has had a century, monumental-wise series and has stepped up for this team. If the series ended after that third map, would definitely earn that MVP, at least from my vote. From Dibalicious is once again trying to flip the coin to see if they survive that early engagement. This time, nobody dies on either side, and we'll go back to trapping up that wall. It's an interesting setup here, though, for Texas Tech, and they've got Ghost on this entry. They've got the flamethrower, but Dibalicious fights the better and fights them both!
I mean, that's a kill that he shouldn't have won. Gray trying to step into the bomb site to take this back. Blah Blah is going to shut him down. And it's just the Monty all alone. Blah Blah. A very one-dimensional attack, and St. Ambrose, they're going to punish him for it.
I mean, that is the in-your-face flip around that we've wanted to see from St. Ambrose all day. And they do it in map number 4. They take away one of these 3 critical rounds from Texas Tech where they have access to the Monty. I really want to see what the answer to this is because, I mean, St. Ambrose, it wasn't just an in-your-face composition, and those kills were very nice, but it also gives credit to their setup in these early rounds, what they've been able to do, what they've been able to provide for their first engagements, and obviously for Dibblicious, finding that double kill, it is just insane.
Again, yeah, it is really those huge hero plays that players like Blah Blah was doing all last game, but we were talking about it in between maps. Dibblicious kind of being silent there on map 3, and I really spoke about on how no matter how bad of a performance players put up throughout a best of 5, a best of 3, you always have to have that confidence to continue to put yourself in positions to find success. A lot of the time, players will get discouraged. They'll put themselves on support, passive roles. They'll take themselves away from those opportunistic positions. And a lot of the times, teams will lose because of it. You just have to have your confidence. You have to put your position to continue to try and find success. And just trust yourself in the long run.
It's pretty critical, especially in a best of 5 as well. When everybody needs to step up, it's a 5v5 for a reason. You have to stay in the confidence zone, but not the overconfident zone, where you don't say for Dibblicious, okay, now it's just time to go. Monty will meet face-to-face with Brapton, who will rock right into Camo Spray, so taking down the castle as a first start here. And it's going to be the Solus to grab some extra information on the outside walk. Rek and the rest of the crew have already busted their way through, but St. Ambrose kind of hunkering down here, still with Dibblicious alive. It makes getting immediate access pretty tough.
Yeah, again, it's the opening kills at Texas Tech. Even in rounds they're losing, they're still able to find them. It's been the constant factor, and Blah Blah has the potential to do huge damage here. Buzz has tucked himself away from the doorway. It looks like the Buck is well aware that there could potentially be a player, but Blah Blah, he's ready. Momo's the one that goes down second. Camo rotating downstairs to try to support and refrag his teammate, but doesn't know where the Solus is. He finds yet another one. The man advantage now in St. Ambrose control.
Ghost is kind of isolated here. I mean, because they lost that res, Gray will get the finish on Cypher. So they at least get some sort of bonus, and Momo Kings finished off their low health bar. Gray finding the double, there's the take back, it's a double the other way! And it's all down to a 1v1 with 2 reses available. You've got to send it. You've got to think about this opportunity. There you go. Get the cleanups and wait for that headshot. Pops the smoke. Rex still the other option to get up. And Monty going to try and sneak their way over. Just a bloodbath decided just like this. And that should be enough to actually give time to get Rec up.
Oh,
the question is, does the flank come quick enough? The answer is no. So 1v2 now. Turned into a low spray. And Ghost is going to send out with the health bar advantage that they have. Rex still trying to play the wraparound. Eventually, you've got to swing out here if you are Rec to try and take it. They've got the diffuser. They've got the position they want. Ghost is going to get the plant.
Yeah, Blah Blah is just trying to position himself further and further away. Lucky enough for him, though, he does have information on Rec, but it doesn't matter. A 1v1 and somehow a little bit of a misplay there from the Soul. Is just playing too passive. But yet again, doesn't matter if you give the opportunity. It's Texas Tech. Take advantage of it.
They tie things up 1-1 here. And I think interestingly enough, a lot of those rounds have come down to simple scenarios, to clutch up or lose the round. And that's where decision making is honestly, we scrutinize the most, because even though it's a high stress scenario, even though it's something where you have to force the issue, it's also another thing where for Texas Tech, that's one of the rounds you need to win with the Monty still available. After this round, you're probably not going to have the Monty for the rest of this first half.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to take advantage of this Monty as much as possible. I'm kind of looking at the lineup here. Dokeby being brought out. You also have the Lion. I really like that.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Gray switching off that Capitao for the Ace. Noticeably
seconds
no
left before
Glaz, no
insertion.
Capitao, and no Ying also.
Attackers
A lot of
objective
that
is to defuse the
execution
bomb.
utility off of the board, rather focusing more than likely clearing this top floor, trying to get this vertical.
Another fresh 3 minutes on the board. A 1-to-1 setup here for these two teams. Texas Tech down in overall map count. They haven't won a map since map number 2. They did win it 7-2. But it's been very back and forth. Camo, the recipient of about half their health bars worth of damage in this early setup phase. Ghost looking for some sort of extra information off that shield take. But, I mean, this is a setup with not only the Frost, but going back to the OG setup. The Frost with the Legion.
Yeah, Ghost even gets a shot off of Camo, and the bomb site, what they thought was completely cleared. Rap's gonna be able to find Camo. Ghost gets a refrag. Momo coming in for another Cypher, shutting it all down. For all of that Texas, they find themselves in a 2v4 now, make that a 4v1. Doesn't even know where Cypher is. Too quick for their own pace and the lack of map control they had. In St. Ambrose, they take that map or that map control back.
The silent positions here from the Fighting Bees has been very good throughout the series to give themselves some pressure. St. Ambrose now up in count. They have never trailed so far here in this map. And they'll once again put themselves back in the lead. You have to assume the Monty is coming through on the band side for them. We will see what Texas Tech decides to go for, and it is the Cade. So none of those claws going to be available, but Texas Tech has got some serious problems now without the shield front line.
Yeah, again, I mean, I saw the idea, I understood it, but without the Glads, without the Ying, without anything to blind and displace those defenders on the bomb site,
Attackers need to locate
it was
and
just
defuse
going to
the
be a
bomb.
really difficult time. And it kind of seemed like Texas Tech, they didn't bring the utility
Attackers have discovered
needed
the
for the
location of a
exact
bomb.
type of push they were going for. Again, I really liked the effort, and if they had that utility, it probably would have gone a lot better.
Like you mentioned, though, a little bit too fast for their own feet. Interested to see what they actually bring this time. If they bring this Ram, I'd actually be quite excited to see how they play a top-down offensive assault. Of course, Camo is going to switch back over to the Sens, it looks like, to provide some of that. And it looks like
10
no
seconds
Ram
to
is
go.
going to be the choice. But that wall has given them a ton of value whenever Texas Tech
5
can
seconds
access the
remaining.
sites. It feels like they almost get a free hit every single time. But this
Attackers
time they have to
objective
deal
is
with,
to
again,
defuse the
so
bomb.
much. These Frost Mats, Momo King on the Mira. You've got the castle walls. It is so much to break through. And sure, you have information gathering tools from Texas Tech, but you need to get the players like Gray and Buzz deep into the sites to make it worth your while.
Going for another quick hit. Doublelicious with the opening. Buzz hits a frost bat. Brap is able to finish off Ghosts. Camo trying to retake space on the top floor. Is he going to be able to find anything? No, he's not. He's team killed by his teammate. It is all falling apart. It's unraveling here in round 4 for Texas Tech.
They've got 2 players left to try and change what has been a catastrophic round. Crossfire setup here from the dual hallway. Wreck and Gray just playing together. The flashbang is good at least. Cypher will lose their eyes. It's going to be a kill back from Wreck, so they will get something here. Wreck technically on a double kill, but we'll talk about the other one. 4 players left alive from St. Ambrose, and they've got just a ton of control. They just need to play this slow.
Brad rethinking that decision there. Blah blah stands up. He finishes off Wreck. Momo finishing off the round. And Texas Tech, this entire series is starting to slip through their fingers. St. Ambrose saying to themselves that we're reading you like a book, and we know how this story ends, and it ends potentially in a 3-1.
And it's interesting because of the answers for Texas Tech. Their answers have tried to been, okay, let's just try and play faster and faster and faster every single round. And you know you're battling into a Frost. You know you're battling into this castle and all these defensive tools. And yet you still just walk into those early gunfights. Dibbalicious has not been giving anything for free. Is actually right now second on the team in kills. Has had a really good map number 4 here. And Texas Tech has not been given anything for free at those starter rounds, and that has really changed how they've been able to assault, what information they've been able to get, and their information gathering is going to change over to Camo swapping to the Solid Snake.
Let me switch to the
10 seconds
Demos, and
remaining.
then bring the Brava. I like the Brava. I think this is Brava's by far
5
best
seconds
map.
left before insertion.
Specifically because of the default cams. There, for example, fireplace. You get control of that. You can hold the flank up from basement. You can hold the flank up to second floor. The default cams are so useful. And if the attack is able to get them, that mid to late round info is going to be so useful, almost needed a lot of the time, and especially a lot of trap utility like the Rooney. The Brava also, not Brava, but the Maluzi also being brought on board. Taking away a lot of this utility is going to just make it a little bit easier for Texas Tech. Oh my god. Gray almost got the headshot there. Wow.
Could have been a big swing. Here's a big one right now, the setup. How good has Blah Blah been over the course of this series? Another MVP performance on this map number 4. Feels like their position, though, once again becomes critical. As the time starts to dwindle down, it's Camo's caught by another mat.
Dude.
Blah Blah finds the kill.
No, Buzz just... This is the shots. Oh, no. Yeah, it has been a bad half. I think the best way to look... He's not there. He dropped like 5 seconds ago. That C4 is going to miss. I think the best way to look at it, Buzz, a huge player. Last map, Camo's been going really huge. Both players combined 1 in 10. That is not what you want from 2 of probably your better players on the team. Eventually, you do find Cypher. But 3v4, unless St. Ambrose goes out of their way to throw this, which Blah Blah is going to make sure they don't, it's going to be an unwinnable round.
I mean, the health bars are terrible, too. Blah Blah's on double-digit kills already. And Dibbalicious is going aggressive, finds the kill on the Ghost, then he'll get traded off a headshot. Well, that leaves Gray in a 1v3. I mean, the shots are already open. The walls are just eating and talking back at you. Texas Tech, oh, it's going to be a kill back from Gray, but it's not enough. St. Ambrose with a statement here on this attacking side. They are already up to 4.
And usually as a caster, I don't like to talk about all chat because, 1, you know, it doesn't really dictate the match. 2, players say really horrible stuff in there. Some things I can't even really say. Like I'll get sometimes I'll get like a DM from my producer like, do not repeat that. But one thing that we saw from
Defenders,
Texas
protect your
Tech
bombs from being defused
the
by
entire
attackers.
game, they've been trash talking St. Ambrose, calling them trash, saying they don't get offers, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Not the player. But in that round, for the very first time, I saw them talk about their own team,
Attackers have located a
saying one of
bomb.
their players was crying. And when you start to complain and you start to trash talk your own teammate publicly in all chat, in a best of 5, a grand final out of all things, you know the mental is not in the best place. Down 4-1, it is a very
seconds
difficult position, not only because of the map, but the mental over in Texas Tech probably is
5
not the
seconds
best.
remaining.
And then the cherry on top, it probably doesn't help that they're just spamming
Attackers
GG
objective is
get
defuse the bomb.
frostmatted as well from the St. Ambrose side. And I mean, they're right. I mean, it's got to be 4 or 5 kills at this point that they've gone through and grabbed from those chompers. Texas Tech, they've got 1 round left in this attacking side to try and make an answer happen. It's going to be basically a complete swap of composition, but Dibbalicious
yeah.
is going to empty the mag, take down Ghost, and an amazing start to the round.
I mean, he has potential to get more here. He's got to be really careful. Gray's going to be able to punish him. Talk about how he was slow in the last map. He's been the star player, essentially. here in map 4, but Blah Blah just outshining everybody in the lobby. 11 and 2 for him. Gray so low on health and only 2 other players at full health. Still haven't cleared Blah Blah from this death corner. It's going to be a really difficult round yet again. St. Ambrose has done a much better job in these early rounds, setting themselves up for these late rounds in much better positions.
I think the one chance that Texas Tech have in this round, obviously you've got Wreck Alive with that. The flame crossbow is so good to clear out positions. Interesting to see though for Buzz, you talk about has just not been on point enough here in this map number 4. A map that could end things off in this series, and St. Ambrose could get a sweep over Texas Tech in this playoffs. Blah Blah doing Blah Blah things, finds the double kill. This round is over. Buzz has got to find all 4 of them and the diffuser in a minute 15. And realistically, St. Ambrose, they not only have the mental boon on top of them, they've got Blah Blah on a triple kill. It's 5-1 at half.
I really love watching talented players like Blah Blah just line up perfect head level and then tracks that kill perfectly. It is really the little things. And again, you know, game sense, mechanical skill is definitely not everything. I mean, just look at Shaiko's career. It only gets you so far. But again, it is really nice to take a breath, and you know, Texas Tech probably need to slow down and take a breath for themselves. Getting a little heated, not only in all chat, I mean in that round specifically. Again, they're just getting beat at every single opportunity, at every doorstep. It is just not going their way whatsoever. They're not able to find any opportunities here on Chalet.
I mean, we go back to the point we made, though, at the start of this map. How map number 3 was so close, but it feels like because it was so close and Texas Tech didn't even send it to overtime off that full regulation, they already started to lose a little bit of the mental. And then what has been happening here, St. Ambrose is only 2 rounds away from succeeding in another takedown of this Texas Tech team. The bans, we get the solid snake off the board. The Mira, the Azami for St. Ambrose. It's going to be interesting to see how Texas Tech tries to play around it. And for Texas Tech, they're not going with these shield bans. So St. Ambrose can play around really anything that they want to.
Blah Blah on the Cali. This is the first time we've seen a Cali all game. We've seen quite a bit of DMRs. Yeah. We haven't seen the only sniper in the game. Texas Tech now on the defense. Again, to add context, I know I'm like a repeating record. A 4-2-F isn't this slightly leans in the favor of defense. A 3-3 isn't all uncommon compared to a consulate or a layer. But I mean, it's not a side issue. This is a play style issue. St. Ambrose just really getting the better of Texas Tech. And I think it honestly just comes down to just reading. I think the best way to summarize this is the frost mats. I mean, not only is Texas Tech not able to read into the playstyle, the positioning from St. Ambrose, they're not able to read into the frost mats, but Camo is able to read his way into a headshot onto Doublicious, finally getting the better of him in that opening engagement.
You get that one. But Texas Tech really need to win this round right here, giving St. Ambrose already series point would be anything but ideal. Camo loses about half their health bar on the tradeaway. And it's interesting with the Sens. I think for St. Ambrose, they're waiting for the right time to really burst out of the site, grab some extra space, and use that wall to really cut off the coverage. They've also got the Flores and the Capital. I say that and immediately curse it away. There goes Momo King. They still have the Flores drones to try and clear out some extra space, but they need to get some kills back. They're down 2 members right now.
Yeah, not a great start for your very first attacking round. Not necessarily working. Miracle, you got a minute and 45 to work with. That Flores drone does get the shield. Blah Blah finds one on direct. Finally. It's Ghost and Buzz over by top. Mez holding the grounds. Cypher, if he catches this Ghost position just a little bit far off, he's going to be able to shut him down. But Camo making his way up blue stairs to add additional support in position with his team.
St. Ambrose, there is something that stinks of this
dude.
round, and it stinks of a comeback. Blabla's already found the double kill. 15 kills in 7 rounds so far. Can they find this one? 60 to go. Blabla's got it in him. Oh, man. A dog inside. Frapton's got
You
the
kidding?
extra. From a 5v3 down to a 3v1 up. Buzz, who is yet to secure a single kill in this entire map, will find their first. Needs 2 more. That's the diffuser drop in the floor as Drone will force him out. It's 2 full health bar players from St. Ambrose.
A 1v2 isn't entirely possible, especially with the SMG-12, but you got to read these 2 players coming down. You have to be prepared for it, and no, they are not. Blah with the final kill, 17 kills throughout 7 rounds is absolute insanity.
There's a chance Blah drops a 20 bomb with only 8 rounds played here in this map number 4. Texas Tech, they have already denied themselves from winning in regulation. They would have to win 5 rounds straight here on this defensive side. It's tough, but not impossible. For St. Ambrose, they've got the golden road paved in front of them. A single round win is all they need to lift the championship trophy and name themselves Division II victors.
Did a little bit of number crunching, and Blah sits at almost 2.5, 2.5 kills per round. He's getting pretty close to 3 kills a round. I mean, that is absolute insanity. He's only died twice. This guy is completely unstoppable. And I mean, he's been like
10
this
seconds to
all
insertion.
night. Just lights out from this kill leader.
5
I mean,
seconds to insertion.
obviously, the undisputed MVP so far.
Attackers
But is he
objective
going to be able to
use the bomb.
finish this? Is he going to be able to push his team over the finish line? Well, we're going to see that now.
Texas Tech, bring the Fenrir, bring the Castle. They'll put Gray back on the Cade. But they need some clutch performances as well from some of their bigger players, especially Buzz, who has fallen silent, except that last round where they were able to eke out just a single kill. From St. Ambrose, they've got the ability to play fast. They've got an opportunity, too, to work off of Brapton's utility and kind of accelerate with his composition in the Thermite to break open some of the walls. Momo King trying to look for some sort of angle over the boxes that they won't find.
Yeah, just playing slow. I really like this. St. Ambrose, they have themselves in a position where they could just, rush in sight. They could play really silly, but they're playing reserved. They're playing mature. Essentially as if, it's the very first round. Taking it step by step at a time, making sure they don't overstep and make any mistakes. And that's what's made this team so dangerous. Even when they're so far ahead, they play near perfectly, not allowing Texas Tech to really catch them off guard at any point.
Still a 5v5 as well. Texas Tech yet to get anything for free. St. Ambrose has done a very good job of denying them all of those isolations. And once again, they've got Pablo on this Thatcher. They've got the opportunity to eat away so much utility. The Thermite charge doesn't go off. It will get frozen away. So maybe that slows them down just enough here. But with still so many players and so many players stacked together, Texas Tech does get one back on Dibalicious. It is the C4 that strikes. Realistically, though, Cypher's into a much better position now. With just around 60 to go, Momo King finds the head.
Yeah, Camo just saying, I'll give you it back. He's just poking his head out in the middle of a breach. If St. Ambrose, if they want, they can just go for a minimalistic take, but Buzz on the flank, Brap's going to catch him, get that refrag. They can open this wall, especially... Oh, well, I was about to say, with the Osa, but he's dead, so... Again, you have the control of the vertical. You can hold that long line of sight. If you can get Cypher in a cushy position to get that plant down, you don't need to do a full clear.
How experimental do St. Ambrose want to get here? Is it simple enough? You've got Cypher playing on that crossfire, has access into both of the sites in terms of the vision work. Well, pops up some shots, will survive to tell the tale off of that crossfire from B. And now Texas Tech, they just need to hold for 15 seconds realistically, but Here comes the swing. Cypher needs to get inside and won't look right. Rack and Gray both fight headshots. And Texas Tech lives to fight another day.
Double T not out of this game just yet, buying themselves another lifeline, another opportunity. Really good round there. But again, it is still such a far uphill battle. You win that bomb site, you're not going to be able to go there again. So they're going back down to Barn Gaming. That glass comes out. So now the question is, do you want to double up on that aggressive utility to try to get right into the bomb site? Bringing that Capitao brings that idea to light. But the really good thing about the glass and Capitao is you don't need it to just rush the bomb site, get the bomb down really quickly. You can go for a full clear. You also have the sends, the Flores to get rid of the utility. And that's what's really good about St. Ambrose is they don't have themselves in this one mold. They allow themselves to play multiple different play styles, even multiple different play styles in one single round.
And they've got so much time to try and try out different situations, try out different compositions,
5 seconds left.
and just win one over the course of the next 4. Texas Tech needs some answers. They're going to bring the Clash, which I think could help out for some of their outer side defense and aid and abet in what is going to be a really tough 5v5 setup. Here's the walkout from Camo, doesn't find anything.
St. Ambrose, I think they're kind of just sitting here saying to themselves that we can go for a full clear, and if we want to, we can rotate over and we just hit site quickly. That clash, though, is going to cause them a lot of problems. And it's really just up to Rec to get his positioning down, to read exactly where this attack is coming from, so we can hold them off. You don't want to isolate yourselves, put yourself in a 1v3, 1v2, whatever it may be, position. You just want to try to buy the rest of the defenders on this top floor as much time as possible to, in turn, waste St. Ambrose's own time.
60 off the board. Nobody dead. And anybody other than Ghost is pretty much full HP at this point. For Texas Tech, though, it's going to take a lot more than just having all 5 players alive at this point. They need to be able to hold the line. Rec is going to be the cornerstone of this building. If they lose it, it will cause an eventual collapse. Buzz is going to go lurking and avoids dying from the outside window peek. Texas Tech, very fortified position here.
Yeah, and yet again, St. Ambrose starting to stall a little bit. Still a lot of utility to clear out here. They do have control of the back half office position of the map. But this is something that's been given to them. They didn't really take it away. Texas Tech just falling off.
Now just around 60 seconds. It is not a lot of time to get the execute indeed. For Texas Tech, the possibility of a comeback starts with a round hold off right here. Dibbalicious will go in and start the tag up on Rec. Grabbing information here and will hide away that Twitch drone. It's a possibility to keep on using and keep on going. Dibbalicious will jump in and they'll find some good damage on the trade to take down Gray. It's a first start. They need more though. Dibbalicious will be the one to die off a headshot and Momo King finally gets the finish. Sure, it's a 4v4, but Texas Tech really held in here. Camo survives again. It's another takedown on Buzz, and St. Ambrose has got the numbers advantage.
Ghost gets the flank, though. Takes the player in the bomb site. Goes from below. He gets the down on Cypher. A 2v3, but blah blah on Rec. That's exactly what he needs. Ghost, can you find the player at bottom? He does. Blah blah gets his teammate up. They both funnel down the stairs. They know exactly where he is. One from Camo. Can he get the second? Yes, he can. Texas Tech, like a dead man raising from the grave, just continues to buy themselves one more round to St. Ambrose. They take their time out.
Still series point here as the timeout comes through. Back-to-back round wins from Texas Tech. Their defensive side starting to come down to what we said they needed more of. Clutch scenarios, Camo stepping up in the most uncertain of scenarios. And St. Ambrose, although they've got 3 more chances to try and close it out here in regulation, starting to falter. And we talk about when Blah Blah isn't available in those late round scenarios. Obviously, Blah Blah, clear MVP across the lobby throughout this series. 18-4-2 across this map. That's awesome. But they've got to remember how to speed things up, and stalling out in those mid rounds is going to do them no favors.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a problem even with the success that St. Ambrose has had throughout this entire series. Every single map, there has been a point in time where they have stalled their own time with nothing. Literally nothing holding them back. They will just sit, drone the same things over and over. Just stare at a bit of utility. I mean, it took them 15 seconds to clear one Malusi, and they wasted a nade for it. So again, it's that problem solving that I think sometimes St. Ambrose, I mean, it is so far into the night, so far into a best of 5. You'll have rounds where your brain doesn't work. And that's fine. St. Ambrose, they have the opportunity for that to happen. They were up 6-1 originally. Texas Tech, they don't have that opportunity. One little brain fart and your entire semester is over.
I also think for St. Ambrose, the nice thing to point out, they'll get that clash off the board. That has really given them so much problems over the course of the last 2 rounds. It has given space, delay, and kind of everything Texas Tech has wanted. Now with that off the board, so is the Tokiebi. So St. Ambrose will have to find another way to gather their intel. I'm interested to see this non-shield composition as they'll try and play it a little bit different with those air bursts. They've got a lot of kind of fluster out utility to force the Red Raiders out of kind of corner positions, but it's going to be interesting to see how they actually get access to the sites.
Blah Blah really just made the call. He's like, all right, guys, I'm getting on Ayana. Let's end this. I want to go to bed. I mean, he's played so many operators. He's played Thatcher. He's played every position, every role. Double-licious almost loses another entry gunfight because he just wasn't using his ears, but he's able to get away from that. Camo's going to pull off, play a little bit more passive, and that's exactly what you need to do if you're Texas Tech. You need to get in the faces of St. Ambrose. You need to play aggressive. Try to catch them off guard. As soon as you play passive, as soon as you start to lay down and let St. Ambrose walk over you, that's how you'll lose the series.
3 chances for St. Ambrose to close it out. Division 2, NECC National Championship on the line. And the Red Raiders are still fighting. Delicious, as we talked about, took a little bit of chip damage from that early engagement, but survives, and that's the most important thing, especially on a Nomad that needs to use those air bursts late on in the round to force out those killer positionings. But it's a little bit slower play again from St. Ambrose, trying to clear out those outside positions, and Momo King doesn't know if they want to jump through the window quite yet. They have that crossbow to clear out positions as well, but Texas Tech is just holding strong.
Yeah, now this is stalling out. Like, what is the idea here? We're just sitting on windows, hoping that somebody swings us? I mean, Momo's been on this double window in library for 45 seconds just waiting for someone to swing him. That's not going to happen. Rec does swing Cypher, and he wins the gunfight. Blah Blah with the trade, and Brap with a nicely placed Thorn loses almost all of his health. They know where Buzz is. Momo potentially has an opportunity, but there's a player right to his left, and where are you looking, Buzz? He's going to be sent out here a light year away, and it's a 5v, or a 4v3 rather.
I mean, Momo King's position is really good as well to cause even more chaos. Blah Blah's alive, Brapton's dead. There's the trade away and the drop of the diffuser as well. Will add an extra layer to the onion that is this round number 10. St. Ambrose off their timeout. Dibblicious is dead. It's down to the 2 clutchers, and with Blah Blah out, it's Momo King from the shelves of the storage, sending their way through, and it's a death. Camo finds it again. Texas Tech go back to back rounds.
Taking that timeout to slow the momentum and try and fix their mistakes results in zip. And I'm not talking about Akron. 2 rounds away yet again, just like Border from sending us into overtime. St. Ambrose really struggling. back-to-back rounds where there wasn't really any idea on exactly what they wanted to do. There was no win con,
Attackers need to locate
continuing
and
to just
defuse
hold
any
angles
bombs
and
they
just
can.
sit and wait. Playing almost as if they're on the defense, but they're on the attack. They need to go out of their way to find these kills, and that's exactly what they're not doing.
They've still got 2 more chances, but I mean the momentum has clearly started to swap over to Texas Tech's side. You give credit to the bands as well. It feels like St. Ambrose kind of lost in terms of their composition. And again, if blah blah dies early, these rounds are kind of falling on their face. St. Ambrose trying to find
10
something
seconds
that
left
can
before
push them
insertion.
over the edge and finish off this series.
5
As
seconds
a
left.
reminder, if necessary, if Texas Tech can find a way to come back and win this map,
Attackers'
we
objective is to
still
locate
have
a
a
bomb and
bank
defuse
number
it.
5 available as the decider.
Yeah, if you're St. Ambrose and you're for blah blah, you don't want to go to bank. You want to finish it off here, and they've been struggling to finish. They've been struggling to get over that final hurdle, and it's been a really good effort from Texas Tech. They have not gotten out of this fight. They're still fighting their way, and they got a lot of fight left in them.
That's what I would hope. They had to battle all the way back through that lower bracket final after St. Ambrose sent them down there. Took the 2-1 victory over Robert Morris, like St. Ambrose did in the first round of playoffs, that upset over the number 1 seed. Send them on down. They'll bring the buck this time around for St. Ambrose to add some more destruction on some of those soft-sided walls. This is a great composition to, once again, play off of the slow nature that St. Ambrose has been playing from Texas Tech.
C4 goes out and gets nothing. Buzz trying to do a little bit of work here. Castle caves in on him. Trying to get this wall open. You can see they're trying to play aggressive. They're still trying to force that effort. Getting that wall open to much more of effect last time around. You can already see St. Ambrose really picking up the pace, moving a lot quicker the previous couple rounds.
90 seconds left, though, and still nobody dead on the other side. They've got those thermite charges from Momo King to try and accelerate the fire. That is this round. But a fire under the Red Raiders and see if they want to swing out Buzz. Oh, he does find further on. No, it's the Brapton that cuts him down in a headshot from behind. So all of a sudden, Texas Tech down a member, and it's Buzz who was kind of controlling that top floor. Now look at this. Gray under a lot of pressure. St. Ambrose, all the right angles to hold.
Yeah, and there's no more C4s for Texas Tech. They've used all of them. That long distance explosive utility just completely off the board, and now it's just up for St. Ambrose to try and find a way, a comfortable position to try and get this bomb down.
Cypher outside. Camo thinking about the swing out, but we'll just take the short angle, the safest one. 5 players still alive from St. Ambrose. This is the best chance they've had to close it out in 4, but blah blah dies. Not the start you want. It's a good enough trade to take down Rec, and it's all going sideways. The Red Raiders, they will find the advantageous trades even though they let the diffuser go down. I think they're pretty happy with that. Still a 3v2. Momo King is the one you've really got to clear out. So it's time for the try gang. Just send it. Momo's dead to the double kill of Camo. And Brapton will try and cut out from the outside walk. He's got one. He's got the double, triple, but no! No, no, no! Max length regulation. Texas Tech will send us there again.
What a way to win the round. Texas Tech, they're making sure they don't go out easy. Fighting at every strength, and what a round. Probably one of the best we've had in the entirety. Even with such a great start, it was Texas Tech with a strong finish. Fighting for those kills upstairs on those attackers, holding that vertical, and as soon as that goes off the board, even with the bomb down, Texas has all the control they need. A really well played 1v3 there, all the way down to the last 1v1, but that's what you need. And St. Ambrose, just one round away from letting this slip. Keep in mind, they were up 6-1.
I will say, though, Texas Tech needs to still win this next round. Last map ended 7-5. I think the biggest disappointment would be after all this comeback to fall flat right here.
10
They've
seconds
got
to
the
go.
composition to send it to overtime, though, and for St. Ambrose swapping
5
back
seconds to
over to
go.
the Flores, they're going to be bringing the Flame Crossbow and that Sens that has
Attackers
provided
are
them
moving to
so
defuse
much
the bomb.
support from the visual blocking side. This is it. Round number 12. Is it the end of the series, or is it Texas Tech from the depths of defeat bringing it back out of nowhere?
And again, I talked about how St. Ambrose, they've lived and died on the hill, and that hill is named blah blah. These last 2 rounds completely shutting him down. He's been stuck on 19 kills. It doesn't sound all that bad, but he was originally 17-3. And that's been a major factor in the success that Texas has found on this last half in regulation. They just need to continue to push it forwards, though.
Momo King cannot die here on this initial lurk out. If you lose that crossbow, it could be the start of the end here for Ghost and the rest of the crew. Here's the lurk out. There it is. Momo's dead off the first blood. Like a reaper in the night, Ghost delivers him to the death realm.
Perhaps just sitting still, just waiting. St. Ambrose playing like the team that's losing right now. Just scared, afraid. Blah, blah, are you prepared? Don't look up too far. And he does. Camo finds the lurking nook. And that could be the round right there.
You've got Flores drones. You've got the Sens wall to at least give you a little bit of space. Dibblicious, no coin flips, was playing a really solid first half, and even more of those walls going out. The cover on top here. Brapton does have a nice cut down. Gotta isolate Dibblicious! He finds the double kill. Wreck will get the trade, but it's not before the damage has been done. The Solus. And Gray off the board as well. This will be an interesting one to close things out.
Cypher and Brapton completely disconnected. Going for more of a horizontal take. 2 players inside of the bomb site, 1 above. A nade goes out, that's going to push out Wreck. But it's just not enough to kill him.
The lurking Cypher. Brapton trying to be the hero. Avoid overtime. Texas Tech, they've got 3 players still left alive. Brapton sure has the wheel, throws it out again. Trying to slice up this site. They've got the diffuser at the very least, but the health bars aren't good. Decides not to take his shots. It's just gonna be Ghost. Double kills them, rips them down, and butchers them 5 rounds straight. Regulation was not enough here in map number 4.
Down 5 rounds, Texas Tech, they found themselves yet again even-handed at the top of the hill, but they need to do more. Chalet isn't over just yet. And out of the turn, in overtime, St. Ambrose, they get to fall back onto the defense 2 times out of the 3 total possible rounds. So Texas Tech, they're going to have to win an attack
Attackers need to locate
at
and
least
defuse
once if they want to take us onto our final map of Bank.
bombs. Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
They've brought it here, though. They've at least given themselves a little bit of breathing room where if they lose 1 round, it's not entirely over. St. Ambrose starting to lose their minds here as Blah Blah has been shut down round after round, but they get to go back to this Frost. I'll be intrigued to see how fast Texas Tech plays when they probably know that those Frost mats are coming back up. Of course, for St. Ambrose, those bans from the regulation do trickle over, so there will be
5 seconds
no
remaining.
shield hits from Texas Tech from either of their 2 attacking rounds.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
It'd be really crazy if they just switched the round counts. Like they lost 7-5 on Chalet and then lost 8-6. They lost 8-6 on Chalet, then 7-5 on board. Oh, that'd be tough. I mean, all the pressure now is on St. Ambrose. all of that mental headache not only starting, it's creeped into their minds. Even with the defense to fall back behind, it's going to be tough. I mean, losing 5 rounds in a row after being on match point, that is definitely something that's going to hit that mental. It's going to chalk it.
I think the other thing, too, is when you talk about for St. Ambrose, they do have that map advantage. They know they at least have that map 5, so there's some pressure back on Texas Tech, too, to try and close this one out. First minute here, nobody dies, but Buzz takes a pretty aggressive angle downstairs side. We'll see what the look is going to be from Rec as well, who has some of those airbursts to pop on through. For St. Ambrose, they've got a lot of good control across this map right now, and especially with the Miras, you're just able to isolate those one-ways and put some extra pressure on the vision game right now of Texas Tech. As Buzz is going to make some noise down below, we'll try and blast through the floorboards as Demolicious overlooking.
Oh, a nice opening pick. They are going to get that wall open, but they lose that buck because of it. Camo playing really aggressive. He could find the trade back. That's exactly what he does. Gets out of dodge, removes the capability for him to get traded back, and that's absolutely huge, but they still need to find control of this top floor if they want to go for that plant.
And the lurk here from Camo is really good as well. Long angle slicer. Extended engagement here for St. Ambrose. But it's also a little bit of a stall here from Texas Tech. The Red Raiders need answers, and Momo King is going to ask even more questions. That Ghost is going to go down. 4v3. The Mira survives, and so do the one-ways. The smoke is going to go down, and Gray's going to try and just go for the plant here. C4 is waiting. The toss-up through the hatch. There you go! Momo finds the double. Now Gray should be able to get this one done, but it's going to be Camo dying beside them. And sure, you'll get the diffuser down. But now it's a 4v1 try. You take down Momo, and that will seal it all. Brapton finds their own double kill. And St. Ambrose will once again return to series point.
I mean, this is just like, my heart is racing. I mean, even in that 1v3, if he gets the kill onto the castle, I mean, that round could have been possible for Texas Tech. They get to go back onto their defense. Both teams only winning 1 attack throughout the entirety of Chalet. So St. Ambrose, even though they're up 1, I mean, they still got to get their second attack at the entirety of Chalet. Texas Tech, they get to fall back onto the defense. I mean, you have a lot of problems to fix. And to be fair, the one round that St. Ambrose even won their attack on is a round they shouldn't have. It's a round that I don't want to say Texas threw away, but they were essentially in a 2v4 and they were able to claw it back. Again, the same problems that we've been speaking about for the entirety, not only for the attack, but both sides, of just not being able to have good early rounds and setting yourself up later in said round. And it's a problem that they have not been able to fix here on the attack on Chalet.
Both teams' attack has been a little bit lackluster. From St. Ambrose, though, they're back on series point. They'll get another chance at least on the defensive side to try and close things out. But we'll also see if they can close it out here. Blah, blah. Ever since we talked about that kind of turn of the half at 17 kills, has been slowed down themselves. So I'm excited to see Blah, blah back on the glass. You've talked all day about confidence, and that's what I feel like St. Ambrose needs in this attacking round.
I mean, at this point, I mean, I wouldn't hate them if they just hit the bomb site really quickly. They have the utility needed for it. How their attacking rounds have gone so far. Again, it has now been 4 rounds with no kills from Blah Blah. I mean, he's just been sitting on the precipice of that 20-kill game. He hasn't given it to us just yet. This could be the round where he could find it. Buzz taking a lot of damage. Isn't taken out just yet, so he's going to be able to continue to play in this Bez position. A lot of pressure being felt early on.
Buzz is a player you don't want to lose. Not been having a phenomenal game number 4, but Buzz's first bloods in earlier maps has been enough to bring Texas Tech to a point like this. Ghost has got a really dastardly long angle, cutting through multiple walls. setup from Rec is not going to be enough damage. Camo gets another walkout kill. Blah Blah will be limited again from a 20 bomb game. The setup is good from Texas Tech as they start with the first blood, and they've got so much information to play off as well.
I mean, Camo's, he's just going to continue to play in this position. Sure, he's going to walk away, but just allowed to just run away, continue to apply that phantom pressure. Momo, what can you do here? He finds the kill onto Buzz. Ghost misses the refrag, and that's huge. That's an opportunity missed by Texas, but Rec looking to create another one, being doubled up by Camo on the flank.
Two players set up on the swing. They'll access the pool table here from Camo. Flash goes out, eaten away here from Momo King, who doesn't have the greatest health bar to work off of. But this is realistically just a 4v4. I mean, this half-wall play from Ghost could be everything that they need. There's so much pressure on him here on the other side. Momo King wants to enter. They'll use the hard breach charge, or will they? Ghost has found the first. And now that they know this position, you can just go out, find the double, and clean up the rest of this round. St. Ambrose, they really just don't have an answer.
Cypher hasn't had a great series so far and is going to continue to do so. But Gray, he's picked up the gear and he sent us to max OT. They've been on this match point. They've been on the precipice time and time again. And yet again on attack. Are they going to be able to finish it off?
Well, here's what's going to be true. Somebody's going to win this map. Somebody is going to walk away victorious. And it's obviously the biggest swing of pressure either way. For St. Ambrose, the big lead that they had, the immaculate start that they put up on the defensive side, they will return to the land that has won them 6 out of their 7 rounds so far. But for Texas Tech, I mean, it's simple. Win a round, win an attacking sided round, and you get access to map 5 and all of the momentum in the world.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
One operator. There is one operator, Texas, that you have to put your focus on. And their name is Frost. 7-7, all the pressure against you.
10 seconds
The
left before
Ram,
insertion.
the Ying, the Grim. This is an aggressive lineup.
5 seconds remaining.
More than likely, that will be used to do a clear upstairs, but if you're not careful,
Attacker's objective is to defuse
that
the bomb.
Frost can trip you up. It could end the round and the series well with it.
That would surely be the funniest way to end the series. A couple of Frostman kills here. You got to turn on your brain for this round. Overtime maximum. Camo and Buzz, the rest of the crew starting from this similar side. They don't want to get caught from any walkouts either, even though St. Ambrose hasn't really gone for too many walkouts. There has been chances where Momo King has found isolated 1v1s. Taking control of those cameras is going to provide them with so much space to work off of on the flanking side. But it's already Texas Tech who are trying to barrel their way through.
Kind of curious on how they're going to deal with this death player here. They have the Flores, or actually no, they didn't bring the Flores. No nades in the pocket, so it's simply just...
Oh,
What can you do? Camo with a really big pick. The opening kill on a Cypher. That's huge. That's detrimental. No immediate trade back. That's a really good find here for Texas.
100 seconds to go. Texas Tech, a great start. Cypher off the board. Buzz gonna lay in some extra utility and just explode the back of sight. Rec is gonna work from outside in, and Dibblicious will find themselves their 11th kill of the map for this one and take down Camo. So no more Grim B's gonna come out in this one as the time continues to dwindle down for Texas Tech. You've got to find a way to deal with Dibblicious.
Nothing to clear this shield. There is nothing. You are not going to be able to get rid of it. The best you can do is close off that doorway, but they get one. Momo finds Buzz, and they do eventually close that doorway up, but it's just one impact, and it's gone. a 3v4. They don't have control.
Thought that they were going to lose another, or maybe it was going to be falling the other way. 45 seconds for Texas Tech to dream up their greatest plane of all time. Down a member. With the doors in control, it's Momo King finding the double, and Demolicious ends it all! Oh, it's a full house of beauty! St. Ambrose, the maximum distance doesn't stop him, and the Fighting Bees deliver the knockout blow! Division II national champions, sounds good to their name.
And it was a hard-fought battle. The first two maps, 7-3, 7-2, then a 7-5, and an 8-7. I kind of jinxed it. I did say what would happen if the score lines just swapped maps. And sadly, that's exactly what happened. Just coming so close. Deja vu for Texas Tech. But sadly, it's not just a memory, it's reality. And they've lost in the grand final.
I mean, hard-fought effort. A lot of credit still has to be garnered Texas Tech's way for moving through. They had a couple upsets on their way here towards this grand final, making it back through that lower bracket. But at the end of the day, St. Ambrose, I mean, you're talking about a number 8 seed who, again, had to start off their playoff bracket by upsetting Robert Morris, made it all the way through, upset another team in the second round, and they have just been conquering and conquering and conquering. So, again, they played close to the vest, sure. Were there some things to improve on? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, champions definitely deserve for them. And I'm excited to see how this roster continues to evolve over the course of the next couple of years.
I mean, yeah, they have such a high ceiling. They've blown all the expectations out of the water this semester, this playoffs, and now this grand final.
It's been a lot of fun, and I'm glad the teams were here to provide it, but obviously they're going to go get some rest, and I think us as well. We deserve some as well. Before we do got to give some great shout-outs to the production team working in the back, from the other Goose on production side directing the show today, to Rennie observing all of the action, giving us all of those beautiful kills. To the teams out in the server, we do have to give a massive thank you. Of course, next week is going to be Division I Nationals for all of our titles in person in San Antonio, Texas. If you can't make it in person, don't worry. We're going to be streaming it here on the Twitch and on the YouTube, so make sure you follow over there. For my illustrious co-commentator, Goose, myself, Llama77, thank you so much for watching the NECC, and we'll see you next time.